The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of kind of sci-fi. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking sci-fi prison escape movies. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. We're talking sci-fi prison escape movies, and I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. What's up, Matt Vader?
Dude, this was an awesome week.
This week is trash.
This was a great week.
You're ridiculous.
Finally watching some movies that we can enjoy together in our nerdiness that, wasn't some asshole's pretentious, script that he wrote in film school. It's like, I love it.
We definitely overcompensated for the month of May.
I love this. I was just like, dude, I had all these movies watched like 2 days after our last show. It was amazing.
Can you tell Vader picked this week?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I picked good movies.
You did. Sure did, buddy.
That's it.
Joining us today is Conspiracy Tom.
What's up, guys?
The end is meow.
Meow. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. I feel like the world was ending for like 3 years, and now we just forgot. Like, we forgot the world was ending.
Yeah. Well, I did a tweet today.
You did a tweet?
I did a tweet because I'm terrible at Twitter. And I have like 14 followers. But the SMP, the Salty Nerd Podcast, we're kind of like the violin players on the Titanic. Like the rest of the world can be burning around us, and we're just going to be here sitting talking about 80s nerd movies.
Wow, look at this. Look at the references, man.
That's what we do.
I love it.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being here.
I do want to say I saw all these movies in my youth, and I remembered them all being pretty good.
This is a first watch for all three of these.
You know why you remember that?
Because I was 12.
Because they are. Because they are good.
I don't know, man.
I've never heard of any of these movies, and two of them I had to watch on YouTube because I couldn't find them anywhere legitimate.
Yeah. Well, and then Fortress. If you look for Fortress, you're gonna find a Bruce Willis movie. And I started watching it because it was about prison escape, and I was like, "Is this the right one?" I don't know.
Also joining us, the man behind the curtain, Matthew Kadish. Welcome, sir.
I actually had a lot of fun this week. These movies, I saw 2 out of 3 of them in the theater, and it was a first watch for Fortress for me. So it was a fun little romp to 90s sci-fi nostalgia because there are some interesting little factoids I'm going to share about these movies. But overall, bad movies, fun time watching them.
There you go.
All right, guys, this is going to be a great episode, so thank you for joining us. Before we get into the first movie, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Before we get into the first episode, I want to let you know there's a couple ways that you guys can support us. First of all, completely for free, if you're listening to this audio on Apple iTunes, scroll down a little bit and hit that 5-star review. That would greatly help us, helps with the algorithm, helps us get in front of other people and new ear holes and whatnot. And if you have a little extra money and you'd like to join us in the club members area, go to saltynerdclub.com. It's only $5 a month. You guys get access to a ton of extra content. We're talking 4 exclusive podcasts every single month where we talk about classic sci-fi TV shows. For the month of May, we're doing Firefly, which has been a blast. We did Stargate Atlantis, we did Doctor Who, we did Eureka. We're having a really good time going back to those old school sci-fi shows that we don't really get anymore. We just get these freaking 8-episode trash things that they call sci-fi, like Picard and whatnot. But anyway, so if you want to join us, $5 a month is all it costs. It's less than a cup of coffee. Head over to thesaltynerdclub.com. You get access to our Discord, all their really cool stuff. And we love our supporters. So those of you who are already members, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right, the first movie on our list is Soldier. Kurt Russell. Tom.
Looking good with the flat top.
He was.
Well, this is like right after Stargate, right?
He is buff as fuck.
It's right after Stargate. So like he was like on that like juice blend, that cocktail of cleansing.
So when he got cast in this movie, he took 18 months to actually bulk up with, specifically, he said, without steroids.
Oh.
So like the movie, so this is a Paul Stanky Anderson movie. Mm-hmm. And he went off and made Event Horizon in between, Kurt Russell working out to get ready for the role in this movie. So you can thank Kurt Russell for Event Horizon, basically.
And then how long did Robert Pattinson take to put on all that mass for Batman? How long did that? 0 months.
0
months.
0 months.
He smoked a cigarette and showed up.
So I always love it when an actor gets into the role as much as he did for this one.
I think it's funny because Kurt Russell looks great in this movie,
he looks
right?
great.
He looks like a really buff freaking soldier dude. But if you compare him to like modern superhero movies where they're obviously on some juice, and like Hemsworth right now with Thor, he's like freaking looks like a horse. Just
yeah, man. He's all acai berries and superfood.
Yeah,
and some lifting some.
He looks good. I like.
He looks good. Did I say that? Acai.
Acai? Is it not?
I never know if I say
it's probably a Portuguese word. So you're saying it totally wrong.
I only get it when I go to that fancy smoothie place.
It's like a hard J in there. You don't really.
It's super weird.
With an umlaut.
Like, Portuguese is confusing.
Acai.
Yeah. Like, no, it's Amazonian word. Like even worse. Even worse.
No, I think you had it right. It's acai.
I think it's acai.
You're not looking at 4 healthy people right now. So
I am extremely. How dare you, sir? I'm here.
All right, Tom is filling in for Jude. So you got the synopsis for us?
I do. I've never read it.
Okay.
I've not read the synopsis.
Okay, this ought to be fun.
This is a one I can read. I can read. So it's a one.
Well, give us the box office first, right?
Is that what you want to start with?
Yeah. So basically, Jude usually tells us what the budget was, and then she'll go around the table and we'll guess.
I've played this game before.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, guys. What do you think the budget was?
Screwed that up.
For Soldier, I'm going to say $82 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we reversing the game?
No. Like okay, so it cost $82 million to make, and it made $74 million.
Is that what
lost money?
Oh, we're going deep this week.
Yeah, go for it. How much do you think it cost to make
I
this
think
movie?
this movie.
It's got Jason Isaacs in it.
I'm going to say this movie cost $5.5 million to make, and it made $13 million at the box office.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
These are definitely guesses. I'm telling you. Matt, you gonna throw your 2 cents in?
He already knows.
Yeah,
I
usually know, so that's why.
Okay, this is pretty disgusting. The budget was $60 million.
Oh my god!
And $20 million of that was Kurt Russell's salary.
Is that right?
Good for him.
Well deserved.
A whole third of the budget.
You know what?
Well deserved.
I think they could have gone without Kurt Russell. They could have put anybody in there. Christopher Lambert would have done it for $50.
It's true.
So,
very true.
Especially at that time, he was done.
Yeah.
Christopher Lambert.
Box office, $14 million.
Oh,
They didn't make enough to pay Kurt Russell.
That's bad.
They lost money just paying Kurt Russell.
Just paying Kurt Russell.
Okay, so he got to get in shape. He made a shitload of money.
Right.
And he only had to memorize 3 lines.
Yeah.
So
good for him.
Man, he made it out like a bandit on this thing.
Yes, he did.
That is sweet.
Where was it filmed? Did we get exotic locations as well? So
No, it was in a junkyard in
and
LA.
He lived in Fiji. Like,
So Kurt Russell is in every scene of this movie, and he only has like 105 lines.
oh yeah,
I don't think I think they filmed it down at Venice Beach.
He's playing the
Where all-
character.
where all homeless people live.
It's a deep dive character study onto robotic, futuristic humanoid warfare. or
Well,
whatever.
yeah, it's got a lot of like subtext about PTSD and stuff.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, so originally Clint Eastwood was set to star in this movie.
No,
And
I can
so-
see
that
that.
would have been better.
Yeah. Like they, Paul Stanky said that he wanted to make it more like a Western, like Shane. And when Clint Eastwood was involved, he was going to direct and star in it. And then he was like, well, I'm getting a little old, so I'm just going to direct it, and I'm going to cast Sylvester Stallone. And Sylvester Stallone was like, I got other stuff to do. So,
I got a big Judge Dredd real quick.
Yeah.
and so Eastwood bowed out eventually, and then Stanky Anderson came in and took over, and the rest is history.
Well, you know what? I'm very happy that he did because I love this movie.
You're insane. Tell us what the synopsis. I can't wait to hear Jude's synopsis.
I mean, on a scale of 0 to 10, if we put these on a number line, these 3 movies, do any of them pass 6?
We'll get there.
I think
know.
it'll add up to like 8.5.
I'd say, it add up. Oh man. Okay. When a bunch of new and improved, I can't do it. I tried. Okay. When a bunch of new and improved super soldiers replace Kurt Russell, Gary Busey drops him off on a trash planet. A bunch of trash people find Sergeant Todd and take him and try to teach him to be normal, but not a life of nothing but war left him a little weird and unreliable and to be accepted by the community. Okay, all right. It's fair. That's a pretty good synopsis. That is, of course, until those assholes, super soldiers, show up to murder all the trash people. That's the movie. There you go. That's the gist. Let's call it Jude's gist. Jude's gist.
That's the gist of the flick.
Super soldiers and trash people.
Trash people. The asshole soldiers. You know what I found out this week? I really loathe movies that take place in junkyards. I hate the aesthetic. Like
I
everybody's wearing rags. Everything's dingy and gross, and everything's made out of like scrap metal. I hate it. I don't
love
like
the
it.
Post-apocalyptic.
No, I don't like that. You know what?
I want rags. I want goggles.
All the you know what?
Sand goggles.
I want goggles. Yeah.
They needed shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads.
Like they needed shoulder
That's the only thing that's missing in this movie
Made of
is
tires.
tire shoulder
Yeah, could
pads.
have done it with tires.
Yeah, it's basically Mad Max, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie is sort of related to Blade Runner or something, right? Is that correct, Matt?
Wait.
Yeah, so the screenwriter for this, his name was David Webb Peoples, and he's the guy who wrote Blade Runner, Lady Hawk, Unforgiven, 12 Monkeys, like very well-respected screenwriter. And when they were filming Blade Runner, he wrote this as a side sequel. So like it's supposedly takes place in the Blade Runner universe.
Whoa.
And the super soldiers that were introduced at the beginning of this movie originally were supposed to be replicants, and it's hinted at that they're replicants. and so like if you pay attention, like there's all this like Blade Runner like cars and stuff that are like junked on like the planet, and the spaceships have the same aesthetic as like the Ridley Scott Blade Runner movie.
Okay.
That's another 10 million right there.
Oh yeah.
And also like
Oh my
this
God.
movie takes place in the year, let me see if I can find it,
27
2035.
Okay.
And so like that's between the original Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. So this takes place like, I think,
13 years from now.
yeah.
It's like I always love it when we watch movies like this and the future dates that the movies are set in, we've already gone past.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
like-
Well, we're not quite there yet.
You know, Todd was born in 1996.
it was written in 1997.
He's
He's
like-
like 2017. So
So the first thing that went through my head is like, oh, he's a goddamn millennial. He's never going to be able to survive this. He's way too soft. It'll never ever happen.
He's a Gen Z because he's what 30 something years old in this movie.
Well,
So
he's
he
40,
was
he's like 40.
he's born
or something
born
like that.
in the early 2000s.
He's born in 1996. It's right at the beginning of the movie.
These soldiers were born in
Yes,
1996.
it's the first fucking scene.
Kurt Russell's character was born in 1996.
Yeah.
And like the whole opening scene where they're taking the babies out of the hospital,
That's his
it
unit.
says 1996.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I must have missed that part.
You need to pay attention.
I'm sorry, dude. This movie is horrible.
It was horrible in the first minute.
It was-
You checked
Dude,
out in the
it's-
first minute.
Well, it is a Paul W.S. Anderson film.
It's
Come on,
it's a
man.
stanky
So what
movie.
you're telling you didn't give this movie a chance.
well, there's babies in it. know,
You
he hates
checked
children.
out.
Listen.
You said, "Oh, am I going to watch this movie? It's dumb." Paul W.
Listen.
Anderson.
I watched it twice.
Okay. And
Okay.
you didn't catch it either time.
I don't read movies. It's a freaking stupid print at the beginning.
Okay,
I don't
listen.
give a shit.
Listen.
I would have read the damn book.
Listen. when a movie it's in a sci-fi or fantasy genre, all the good ones, and I'm serious about this, all the fucking good ones start out with a little paragraph at the beginning.
Very true.
Long ago, before the age of Arius and
Okay.
oceans drink Atlantis. It's all there.
Speaking
It starts-
of-
in 1996, the world has gone to fucking shit, and we have these super soldiers and blah blah blah. And it's like
That is about the time it happened, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question about the qualifications of this movie.
Uh-huh.
This is Sci-Fi Prison Escape Week. Where's the prison?
I didn't.
said the
I,
same
did,
thing.
I
I
didn't
said the same
choose
thing.
the title of the week. I said let's just watch these two movies, and then
Okay.
he threw this one in.
Okay,
So
Well, the junk planet is the prison.
it's not a
basically-
prison.
It's not. They're just trash people.
They just dumped them off and
No, they
the
didn't dump
garbage.
him off. I did pay attention because the lady, Wonder Woman's mom in this movie
yeah.
says we were headed towards this colony and we
Yeah.
crash landed on this
on
planet.
the garbage planet.
On the garbage planet, and nobody's been able to come and rescue us, so we just stayed here.
because
It's
they
not a
had
prison.
The drone. I agree. I'm with you.
It's as
It's
much
not
a
a prison.
prison as the No Escape Island.
But they
is.
don't want to
no,
leave.
no.
Escape Island was definitely
No.
a prison.
No, and
Yeah.
it's not No Escape, okay? Because there's like 83 movies called No Escape. It's Escape from Absalom.
Well,
That's the
called
title of the
it's called
movie.
No Escape.
It's not
No, you're,
because there's a
you're wrong.
freaking.
In America, it's called No Escape.
Yeah, so when it
Not
came
the
out,
Russian
when it
release.
came out in theaters, it was called No Escape.
Yeah. That's
right.
And that when I went and saw it in the
I saw it in the theater,
it
yeah.
was called No Escape. So it's called No Escape.
It's Escape from Absalom.
If you had come up to me and said, "I want to watch Escape from Absalom," I wouldn't have no idea what you were
No
talking
Escape
about.
is a movie with Owen Wilson and
This one came out
Pierce
first.
Brosnan in it.
But we're not talking about that movie. We're
know.
talking about
Soldier.
Soldier right now.
This is a trash movie, dude.
I agree.
Trash people, trash
Trash
planet.
people, trash
movie.
planet.
Why? Okay,
What, you don't like the story of the old man overcoming adversity?
No,
and
that's
beating the shit out of young people.
that's an age-old story. You know,
I
it's
don't-
like
I don't hate it.
the new upgrade is better, but it's not really because they don't have heart. You know, it's the same.
Right, the iPhone 1 is better than the iPhone
It's
7.
Rocky.
It's not Rocky.
It's Rocky. He gets beat in the first, then he comes back and he finds his heart and he finds his motivation. Then he goes back and he beats the tougher dude.
Rocky? That is not what Rocky's about.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's about a nice girl that works at a pet shop and some creepy dude that keeps harassing her. And he's a very violent individual.
Adrian, you want to come over to my house, maybe?
Honestly, though, to be fair, I think Matt could expand on this, but I think there's only been like 7 movies ever made, right, Matt?
Yeah, the plot. Well, there's only 30 plot lines.
That is true. Yeah, there's only a few. Like,
well, George Lucas subscribes to that idea.
Yeah, so
he's one plot line.
Yeah.
It is the Warrior's Tale. He read that book, and that's it.
I believe what Vader was getting at is that there are 20 master plots, is what they're called, and every story is a variation on these 20 master plots.
Yeah.
Yes, I just watched Northman. And the whole time I'm like, this is just Lion King.
It's Lion King.
It's Lion King.
Yeah.
Well, Hamlet,
which is
Lion King.
Yeah, same thing. Right? Yeah.
It's the same plot, just with a different
I'm like, look,
aesthetic.
it's Mufasa, and there's Scar, and there's his mom, there's the hyenas, there's Timon and Pumbaa.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to ask you guys about is on this trash planet, they seem to have a really bad snake problem for some reason.
Yes, they do.
I don't. Where's that coming from?
Somebody dumped off a bag of snakes they picked up from the Florida Everglades one time.
Okay,
and so they all hang out. And
here's my theory.
I don't know what.
I have a solid theory on this.
Okay. Go for it.
It is a trash planet. They dump things they don't want there. They colonize the planet next door and like. Give her all these goddamn snakes. they threw them over there with all their garbage. And they're like, no more snakes. We have a beautiful home now.
Yeah. Well, they're out there gardening, right? The lady's gardening. And at this point, Kurt Russell has like crash landed. Because let's talk about the opening sequence. Because that was probably the best part of the movie, is that opening thing with Gary Busey. And he's like, these are my best soldiers.
When they raise them, the kids.
The montage.
Not the montage. The fight scene between the new soldiers and the old soldiers.
Yeah. Well, real quick, before we get to the fight scene, did you guys notice who played 11-year-old Todd? Kurt Russell's character.
It was probably his son.
It was Wyatt Russell.
Was it Wyatt Russell?
Yeah. Adorable.
That's awesome.
That makes sense. How much did they pay him? Like $10 million?
Well, that was part of his deal. For $20 million, you get me and my son.
Yeah.
And you can do a flashback.
Cool. Here is my son. For $20 million, you can use him.
You can use him in this
just
movie.
a little side thing. I think I heard that they're thinking about doing a new reboot or continuation of the Snake Plissken movies with Wyatt jumping into the role.
That is stupid.
Really?
I've heard. I'd be okay with that.
You got to have John Carpenter directing it, otherwise it's not going to be any good. But Jason Scott Lee played Kane 607, who was like Todd's replacement and the guy that he was pitted up against at the beginning of the movie. And Jason Scott Lee played Bruce Lee in Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, but he has no relation to actually Bruce Lee. But around this time,
I was so disappointed when I found that out when I was young. I was like, "Oh, it's his other son."
Yeah, but around this time, like Jason Scott Lee was trying to get bigger roles in movies, and I think
Mowgli.
I think that this movie kind of tanked that for him because it didn't do very well.
He was Mowgli.
Yeah, it's Mowgli.
Oh, that's where I've seen him before.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm talking about his role in the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
I mean, he's yoked,
Oh,
and
I remember liking that
he's
movie.
a handsome ethnic gentleman. I don't know where he's from. I mean, I don't know, but he's a good-looking jacked
So-
dude. He should have been more movies.
When
It's
they
the
have,
90s.
when they have the fight scene on the chains, right? That was a lot of fun. I had a good time with that. And like Kurt Russell like gets on the back of him, like rips his eye open. We see him later in the movie. Does he have a robotic eye, or is that just like
I think
scar
it's
tissue?
I think it's scar.
Yeah, it's just
Because it looked kind of.
He's got the cool scarf over his eye and stuff. Yeah.
Well, it looked like a little silver. I thought maybe they were like replaced it.
Maybe they put something in there.
Augmented eyeball.
All I know is old men fight dirty.
Oh yeah.
Don't fight an old man.
Eyeball gouging.
Yeah.
So Kurt Russell didn't die when he fell off those chains. The other two guys died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't die.
But he fell and he fell on top of that other guy.
So basically, one of the soldiers falls, hits the floor, and dies. And then that body broke Kurt Russell's fall, so that he just got really injured and knocked out. And they thought he was dead, I guess.
Yeah, they did not check. They were just like, whatever.
Well, he's a replicant, apparently.
Well,
so is he even alive?
No.
Throw him in the trash.
Those soldiers were not replicants.
The Kurt Russells?
Yeah. The original soldiers
The Kurt
were
Russells.
humans. The replacements were replicants.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Well, he couldn't be.
I don't think they were supposed to be replicants either.
Well, in the movie, they never said it, but in
Right.
the original script, because this is a side sequel to Blade Runner, they were supposed to be replicants.
I just took it as they went and got some more babies and raised a more advanced and harder trained group of dudes. So who knows? I don't know.
I'm down with robot soldiers. That's fine.
Yeah.
So you liked Fortress?
We'll get to it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. That was an interesting twist. What was that I was going to say? Okay, so we talked about the snakes and...
My theory on the snakes were that they were the original alien inhabitants and they just happen to look like snakes.
Okay.
Oh, like Rick and Morty. With the snake planet. You'd watch that?
That was awesome.
You didn't watch Rick and Morty?
Nope.
What?
You elitist. How dare you?
Oh, I actually like
Rick
that
and Morty.
show.
Rick and Morty all day, man.
It's a good show. Shit, what was I going to say? Oh, my least favorite scene, which I thought was completely retarded. I shouldn't say that. Completely ridiculous and stupid is when they go out there and they're like showing Kurt Russell, like, this is how we scavenge. And they go in the walkway in the middle and they're like, we got to watch out for that really high wind. And then they're just out there and the wind comes and the dude gets like sucked into the machine of death for no reason.
Michael Chiklis is just there. Don't let me die.
Don't let me die. I'm sitting there. I'm like, why? Why would you go scavenging right next to the big spinning machine of death that obviously only spins when the wind is blowing?
You've obviously never gone looking for loot because the best loot is in the most dangerous places.
This is very true. There's traps involved.
Oh man.
Also, that was a wheat thrasher.
Yeah.
And it just so happened to be right there.
And they like, this is the most important loot that we could possibly get. It's right next to
You never know what you're going to find when those drone ships come down and dump all the garbage out.
It just seems really...
You have to go check it out when they land.
Really convenient and dumb to me. I was like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half movie where they tried to squeeze in a whole lot of nonsense. Just be happy that it was at least visually okay, and they spent money on it.
It was just brown.
Like,
everything was brown.
I said visually okay.
I don't understand what you want in this kind of
Like if they
movie.
went full like Blade Runner 2049 and they had like that really visually stunning aesthetic, that might be better. But this movie's just dull.
Can I remind you the budget was $60 million?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That bought a lot of garbage.
Technically, it was $40 million because Kurt Russell got $20 million of that.
Semantics.
I don't know. I just wasn't into this movie, man. I didn't like it. I thought it was dumb. Kurt Russell didn't say anything the whole time. He just like stared stoically.
That was the whole point.
He just stared at the camera the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He called everyone sir.
I mean, have you ever seen like High Plains Drifter? I don't think Clint Eastwood talks in the whole movie.
Well, it works with Clint Eastwood. But the whole time I'm sitting there.
And it doesn't work with Kurt Russell?
Not in this movie.
Snake Plissken?
He's not heavy enough for you?
What do you mean it doesn't work in this movie?
It doesn't work in this movie for me.
He's a super soldier. He shoots guns and kills things.
Not until the last 15 minutes of this movie.
They set up. He went through like every fucking war.
Dude.
The battle of the 6 planets. The Russian Moscovich takeover or whatever the fuck it's called.
You really did pay attention.
It's like, he's got his whole campaign tattooed on his arm.
And all that stuff happens in the canonical Blade Runner universe.
Yeah.
That is a more interesting movie.
Well, that's all set up. You didn't watch it.
I did.
You obviously did not pay attention.
I did. I remember all those scenes.
This is stupid.
No, I remember the scene.
It's a bunch of fucking garbage. Why is it stupid? Wheat thrasher in the thing. It's because they had to set up a heroic moment when Kurt Russell could come in and save the day and make all the garbage trash people trust them a little bit. Right?
Remember when his PTSD made him not trustworthy and he was like punching that metal can until he was bleeding.
Yeah,
and
he's training.
Everybody was like, this dude's a little cracked in the head.
He's a little psycho.
And they kicked him out, right?
Yeah, for 30 seconds.
They kicked him out.
Well, they can't keep him out.
Like an hour later, the husband's like, I gotta go back. We made a mistake. I gotta go find him. And his wife is like, you're never gonna find him. He's too far away. And then he walks out the front door and he's just there waiting for him.
You know why? Because Todd knew that they were going to come to their senses.
Oh, he knew that?
Going to come get them.
Todd's a great future name, by the way.
Todd.
That's a future name I've heard of. This is Todd.
This is Captain Todd.
It was a really touching moment when he was sitting in the big silo by himself and you just see the one tear come down his eye because they don't like me. I don't have any
You're
friends.
not wrong. I'll give you that one. The tear thing kind of took me out a little bit. It's like, oh, you fucking pussy. What are you crying for?
Yeah.
So you're
poo-pooing his performance, right? Who is Kurt Russell to you in your head?
Yeah.
What character is he? For me, it's Big Trouble in Little China. That's who he is in everything.
Jack Burton.
He's Jack Burton. That is him.
Yeah. To me, he's Snake to me.
He's Snake to you. Who is he to you? Who is he Captain Ron? Is that the problem?
I do like Captain Ron. Overboard, Captain Ron. I guess I guess that's where I get my I'm more of a comedic Kurt Russell fan.
Maybe so.
And Western. I really love him in Westerns.
The thing that's cool is Kurt Russell has a wide range of acting ability. So,
but he didn't use any of them in this movie.
He absolutely did.
He played the heavy. He had the tear. That was a real tear,
that was
man.
Not a real tear.
It was a real tear.
CGI
do you think an actor like
Gary Oldman
could come play this character?
No.
Yeah, I think
so.
He's too skinny.
I think he'd be way better. He'd pull it off.
Way better.
Yeah, he'd pull it off.
Hey, Robert Pattinson could pull it off.
Robert Pattinson could do anything, apparently. Read the message board.
With the eyeliner?
Yeah.
Just put a bunch of eyeliner on.
And not work out.
I am vengeance, guys. I'm vengeance.
Men, you're welcome. You're like, what the hell?
I'm so depressed. I have all these billions of dollars.
Oh, God, the sun.
Oh, God, I hate that.
My sunglasses
Who said more lines, Robert Pattinson or Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, probably.
Robert Pattinson in the 9-hour movie.
9-hour movie.
But
That movie was too long.
So
I'm really sorry. I really thought of the 3 movies that we watched this week, I thought this would be the one that you would like at least kind of like a little bit.
I'm with you.
I watched it the first time and I was like, man, I was really not into that. That's weird. I need to watch it again and make sure I give it a good chance.
You know, we had the love interest. He inspired the little mute kid. You know, we had some funny trash people, villagers.
I liked that they blew the dad's leg off like that. And that moment was pretty powerful when the bad soldiers show up at this trash planet and it's like, oh, we're just going to wipe this whole place out as part of like a training exercise. And Gary Busey's like, bro, you can't kill freaking civilians. And then Jason Isaac just shoots Gary Busey.
You know, the one thing I didn't like about this movie is I wanted a little more Busey to be more like Busey.
Yeah.
A little crazy, a little weird.
How does he
give me 2. Give me 2, Utah. Give me 2. I wanted that Gary Busey.
That's a lot of cocaine, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the face you make when you're only snorting up one nostril the whole time. Right. You have to both nostrils, bro.
And this is back when Gary Busey, half his face wasn't frozen. So,
Love Gary Busey. But yeah.
So we need to talk about the fact that this is a Paul W.S. Stanky movie.
Go ahead.
I'm not familiar with this filmmaker, Paul W.S. Stanky. I've never.
Well, it's not Paul W.S. Stanky. It's Paul W. Stanky Anderson.
Yeah. So Matt somehow has a thing against this dude. He makes really cool fucking movies. But you know, whatever.
So he made the Resident Evil franchise.
Terrible.
He made Monster Hunter.
Terrible.
Yeah.
He made the Alien versus Predator movie.
Which one?
Awesome.
The first one. Terrible.
Oh, the Mayan temple.
Yeah, the Mayan
You guys
temple.
are just jealous of his success.
I didn't hate
That's
that.
the problem.
I didn't hate that one. It just makes
So
sense. That's all.
I'm going to shock all you guys and say that this is the best Paul W.S. Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Said right here.
But there's a reason for that. First of all, he had nothing to do with the writing of the script.
There you go.
There it is.
The guy who wrote this script is actually a good writer.
Which one is the salty nerd, by the way? I'm just trying to figure it out.
All 3 of us.
Secondly, he's credited as Paul Anderson in this movie.
Oh, weird.
So he's not Paul W.S. Stanky Anderson.
He dropped the stank.
He dropped the stank.
Yeah.
It's
not a good lead-in.
He was actually directing from like a good place as opposed to a stanky
He
place.
didn't have as much buy-in.
So you're telling me is when you put your initials in your title, that's when things go south.
No, I'm saying that it's kind of like adding the W.S. to his name is like director Kryptonite. It's like it instantly makes his movies worse.
Okay.
And thirdly, no Mila Jovovich in this movie.
Unfortunately.
She could have played the mom.
She could have played the mom.
Because every movie that he puts her in is terrible.
Well, she's not a good actress.
Dude. Okay, so because we were talking about the mom in this movie, which is it's Wonder Woman's mom, right? That's the Queen Amazon lady from the DC universe.
Yeah.
Connie Nielsen.
She's freaking gorgeous in this movie. And that was funny because that scene, like he's a soldier and he's sitting there and they nurse him back to health or whatever. And then she's there like hanging laundry with like a braless see-through shirt on and he's just like,
what are those?
just staring at her. And I'm like,
what do I do with those things?
and she just keeps going. She's like, oh, what are you looking at?
What's the matter, big boy? You never seen a lady before?
No, I have not.
I'm like, your husband is right there.
I'm gonna make the laundry.
Yeah, but you know what? He never crossed the line.
No, he never did.
He was madly in love with her, and he had the respect enough for the relationship that he never crossed the line.
So the common theme in these movies is that it's all men. And they did manage to put one good-looking woman in 2 out of the 3 of these, and because you need it, you've got to break it up, right?
Yeah.
You can't just have a bunch of dudes running around in the dirt. It's just not fun.
Well,
You can.
They can.
And they did.
One of our movies does that exactly.
Literally all the movie is.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of dudes rolling around the dirt.
So I got to tell you guys this story because it's kind of funny. So first of all, Kurt Russell spent 18 months working bulking up for this movie, and he'd work out like 4 hours a day before set. And so the first day of the film, the movie starts shooting. And, in between setups, Kurt Russell trips on a like fake pumpkin plant or something like that on set, breaks both of his feet.
What?
How the hell? What kind of bird bones does he got?
I know, right?
So like he broke the top of his right foot, and I think he broke the ankle on his left foot.
That's crazy.
And so like basically, their leading man, who's in every scene of this movie, couldn't walk. So after he got back from the hospital, they rejiggered the schedule. So like every time you see Kurt Russell lying down in a bed, that was at the beginning of the nice. Shooting schedule. Then they went to him sitting down, and then him standing up. And the last thing they shot was him doing that run against.
I was just gonna say, man, they must have filmed that running scene at the end of the very last.
Because like literally, like for most of this movie, like Kurt Russell couldn't even stand. He couldn't put any weight on his feet. And there's a scene in this movie where he kind of like comes up from the water with like the Gatling gun. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's in my soul now.
Yeah. So for that scene, like I don't know if you guys have ever fired one of those like Predator type Gatling
all the time
guns. But the force of them is so big that like Kurt Russell, because of his feet, he couldn't brace himself in order to keep standing. So every time he'd fire it, he'd like fall back from the force of
that was a real Gatling gun?
Yeah. And so like what they did is they filmed that in reverse. So like when he'd shoot and fall back into the water, it looked like he was coming out of the water and shooting it.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's incredible.
Movie magic is
man.
Something else, man.
I
I love the insight you give, because honestly, that makes this movie just so the broken feet, and the reverse machine, it's like the Tenet machine gun.
You know what I'm gonna do? When I'm editing this episode, I'm gonna unreverse it and I'm gonna put it back the way it's supposed to be.
I might have to give this movie an extra half star just for that cool little tidbit.
Yeah,
that is
$20 million for two broken feet.
That's amazing.
It's a paraplegic.
I like it even better
body,
All right, I'm gonna do my favorite moment in this movie, and I'll give it a star rating. My favorite moment in this movie is when the strong female leader of the trash people comes up and confronts the army and is like, "I'll take care of this," and they blow her the fuck away with a rocket launcher, and she goes, "Oh shit," and then just boom, gets blown away. Perfect.
That was a pretty good.
That was a great moment. I was not expecting it.
I wonder if they would even film that scene if they made it. These days.
Can you imagine if that was like Admiral Haldo or some shit?
Oh my God, they killed this strong female.
Fucking purple hair.
How
and
dare they? Yeah, she would have fucking have a shaved head, be purple. Spikes,
and then just like she's like, "I will handle this like a strong woman," and then they go thunk and just
her hairy armpits just explode.
They probably have fucking braids coming out with fucking beads and shit.
her wispy beard is blowing in the breeze.
I am woman, hear me roar.
I died laughing at that point. I was like, I'm like,
guys, whoa, hey. We are definitely missing our mistress.
The ambassador of estrogen would have none of this.
This is an all.
This is a sausage fest this week.
Sausage fest, white dude show.
These are sausage fest movies. It absolutely makes sense that it's a sausage fest.
That's probably why Jude had you come over, because she's like, nah.
She was like standing over here for a minute. It's like she was kind of apart, you know.
Anyway, that was my favorite moment. However, I was not into this movie. It didn't do it for me. I don't like the aesthetic. I felt like I was missing something with Kurt Russell. I wanted him to do more actiony shit. Like they spend the majority of this show apparently because his feet were broken. Broken feet laying in a bed like for the most part, and I just wasn't into it. I just was like, okay, whatever. So this is a 2-star movie.
So he was supposed to do capoeira in every scene, but he had no feet.
Yeah.
So
2-star movie for me. What about you? What's your favorite moment?
I'm surprised. I'm glad 2 stars is okay from you.
It's not a 1-star crap fest.
Yeah.
It's got redeeming qualities to it.
So before Vader gives his rating, I have to drop this factoid on you guys because it might affect his rating.
Okay.
So, Paul Stanky Anderson, he's well known for saving money by doing practical effects and stuff like that. And so in the scenes where you had like the large military vehicles, they hired midgets people less than 4 feet tall
God.
to make the vehicles look bigger. So like the midgets were the stand-ins for like the regular people. And
What?
And
I thought you meant like they were like working the wheels or something. Like,
no, like they were the stand-ins for like the super soldiers, and they would dress them up like that so that the vehicles would look bigger.
2.5 stars.
They couldn't even do the Hobbit effect where they had them stand in the background or
They
something.
can't do the force dimension or what's it called? Force
incredible.
perspective?
Force perspective. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, that's an extra half
so
star.
first off, though, just to comment on it really quick, you can't say midget, Matt. So I have taken up the habit of calling them fun-sized
Okay.
instead of midget.
That's probably more offensive.
I don't know what
fun-sized
was
people.
more offensive.
Yeah,
So-
that's probably more offensive.
That's what I'm going with from now on. Fun-sized.
I don't know if you would do that.
I don't care.
Okay.
Fun-sized. Deal with it.
I mean, if you called them all dwarves in a respectful manner, I mean,
Thought we were- hey,
like, hello, Lord Dwarf.
Aren't they all really mad
do you mean they all?
at Peter Dinklage?
really pissed off at Peter Dinklage.
Isn't-
Because it's costing them a lot of work.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
he said something. I can't remember what he said,
well,
but
there's like he's a little person stand-up comedian. He's on Adam Carolla a lot. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Brad Williams.
yeah, he's good.
And Brad Williams was running it down because he was like, well, we all have to speak for each other now. and yeah, like the community's upset because it's like, look, I would have loved to have been a dwarf in that movie. Why can't I do that? No,
Yeah.
I can't.
That's fucking weird.
Now it's Elijah Wood.
I want to see a remake of this movie with Brad Williams playing Todd. That would be awesome.
Dude, Brad Williams is hilarious.
He really is.
Brad Williams is hilarious.
He really is.
Vader, favorite moment, give it a rating.
Favorite moment? God, I don't know, dude. I liked it. I don't know. I hate it when you ask me these questions, especially with movies that I kind of like.
This
because
is literally what we do.
It's your job, man.
I like that scene you described. I like the whole setup for the movie. I like the
Okay.
whole opening montage.
I do like the war on Mars or whatever, where they have like the bubble.
I like how they go from like, the back streets of, Vladivostok to some fucking
Moon somewhere, yeah.
of Sagittarion or something or whatever it was. It's like, wow, they really got advanced with their space technology in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I dig it.
really, really fast.
It's Elon Musk, bro.
I know, yeah, it's pretty cool.
SpaceX.
But no, I don't really have, I guess, a favorite scene. I just like a lot of what this movie does. It's a fun escape movie to me. This is a popcorn movie. This is one of those movies that I can sit back and just enjoy. I did that with all 3 of these movies this week, except with maybe Fortress a little bit. Fortress is a little rough. I'm not gonna. We'll get there in a little bit. But
It was amazing.
it was pretty fun.
I can't wait to talk
I know,
about it.
Christopher Lambert alone.
We'll get there. You went 2.5. You gave it a half star.
Half star for the practical
Half
effects.
star
I'm
for
not
midgets.
saying that. I'm saying half star for the practical effects.
Half star for fun size people. I love it. I love how you do that. You can't say it. You're such a pussy, dude. I swear to God.
At Matt Vader 74, folks.
So I'm gonna up you a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 3.
All right.
This is a 3-star movie for me because this is just right in my. This is in my zone. This is in my fun spot.
Yeah.
So, this is my little G spot movie. So
Just that little hook finger.
A little
Just
hook finger right there.
Hook finger.
2 inches in, straight up north.
It's right there.
What's this, Peter Pan? What is it?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? That's not an allegory? Fucking Neverland, bro.
Right on to the morning.
Yeah. It's like, look, guys.
The second star to the left, straight on it. Dude,
I'm flying.
This is
how is that not an allegory?
It is now.
It is now.
that's what we do here.
That's a new
It's
T-shirt.
like that's what we do here.
It's like the sign of the shocker, and it's like 2 to the left, straight on to the morning.
I love it.
Well, now
Yeah.
we know why he's got 3 kids.
Oh.
3 stars.
Okay, cool. Tom.
Oh, this is too much fun. This is the right panel for these movies.
Yes, it is.
They're all callbacks to my youth.
Yep.
This is 98, so I was a senior in high school when this came out. I remember seeing it in the theaters. I don't have a favorite scene. It's not a movie that has a favorite scene. But the montage, I'm a montage guy. So any good montage, especially in the beginning where you're telling a story that's kind of setting up the story, I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun for me. Like give me a war montage, and I can understand the plight. So it starts with a good montage. It's only an hour and a half. which is good for a not great movie, right?
Okay.
Hour and a half is a good length. So, no, so it would have been 3 stars if Matt Kadish didn't ruin it for me. Because honestly, if they added the Blade Runner stuff to it,
That would have been cool.
I mean, even if it was like just very subtle, right? Just I mean, it didn't have to go. Well, Harrison Ford said no. It was just very subtly made that part of that universe. It would have made the movie more interesting.
It's like right now, I want to go rewatch the movie. Now
Exactly.
And I want to pay really close attention to the garbage heaps because I'll bet you right now that there's a video on YouTube out there that some dude spent 18 hours.
Oh yeah,
Frame
Deciphering.
by framing the garbage heaps and looking for different.
I bet he's like,
cool
look,
shit.
there's
Something from Terminator. There's something from Star Wars. There's R2D2's claw thing that he. It's just. I bet it's all there. I bet there's some really cool stuff.
And a VW bug. And you're like, why is a VW bug on that planet?
Yeah. Well, there should be because it's a garbage planet. And that's where they put garbage cars.
Fair enough.
Probably be a lot of Teslas.
How many stars do you give it?
2.5.
2.5?
Okay. It would have been 3. And honestly, Matt's backstories on some of this stuff really kind of disappoint me. They gave Kurt Russell way too much money. They could have got anybody else to do this role. Kurt Russell did not carry anything.
No.
So the fact that they gave a third of the budget to the actor, it was based in a universe that had an established, terrifyingly fanatic fan base. And didn't give any of that to us. Yeah, it loses cred for me. So 2.5. Yeah.
Welcome to Paul Stinky Anderson.
Yeah, what a bummer.
That's his MO, honestly.
This was my only saving grace of these 3 stupid movies. And I love stupid movies, but this is the only saving grace of you can watch this. I'm with you. I could totally watch this movie. It is in my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I like it. I love the old man beating up the young kids. I love it. But it's it loses some cred for me when I found out the backstory. So thanks a lot, Matt.
I completely forgot about that.
Thanks for ruining my day, Matt.
I completely forgot about that. So that we didn't talk about that scene at the beginning where they're doing the training montage and the fat kid. That was me. Fuck,
dude.
I can't keep up.
They just freaking killed him. Yeah, that was dark.
It was dark, right?
That was real dark.
Pretty dark.
Yep. It's kind of reminded me of like the Spartan program from Halo.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was saying this is basically the Spartan program.
Yeah, kind of.
Or real Spartans. Not the real Spartans.
Real.
Like
yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, where they all got the idea
Did
from.
you see 300?
Yeah.
I mean, not that movie. I mean, like,
I got you. Kadish, favorite moments? Give it a rating.
My favorite moment was when the movie ended.
Oh my god!
But
that is such a cop out.
Come on. No, I got 2 scenes I want to talk about. I wouldn't necessarily call them my favorite, but so Jason Isaacs is well known for appearing in a lot of Stinky Anderson's movies. He was in Event Horizon before this one, and then he came over here, and he's like kind of like the smarmy big bad guy. And there's a scene where he basically pisses himself in this movie. And that was not originally in the script. Jason Isaacs basically went to Paul W.S. Anderson. He's like, you know what? I think my character is such a sniveling coward that he would piss himself in this moment. And Stanky was like, does anyone have any pineapple juice? And so like they just poured pineapple juice down his pants for that one scene and made it so like he pissed himself.
For a minute there, I was really frightened that he was going to say he actually pissed himself.
I was like wide eyed, like eating my popcorn. Like, he peed himself.
He peed himself for that scene.
How many takes did it take?
That's some serious method acting, right?
So the second thing is that the snakes in this movie, like they look like kind of like innocent garden snakes. They don't look threatening at all, but those snakes are actually extremely poisonous. They're called Thai vipers, I think.
What? The green ones?
The green ones, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so like they were so poisonous that it was actually like dangerous for the actors to handle them. So every time you see Kurt Russell holding a snake, it's someone else's hand holding the snake, like the snake wrangler, and it just looks like it's Kurt Russell holding the snake.
So in that scene where that lady cut the head off, did they really cut the head off the snake?
No, they didn't.
Well, that would be cruel and inhumane.
Yeah, no snakes were harmed in the making
like
of
a
this
poisonous
movie.
Just to kill a snake.
For me, you can kill all the snakes. I don't think we need them. I hate snakes.
Hawaii's with you on that.
I've been there. I love it. I can walk around barefoot. I was like, there's no snakes in Hawaii, and the roads are paved with cheese.
Fresh pineapple right off the side of the road.
Dude, there's nothing poisonous in Hawaii. Whatever you see, you can eat it.
So anyway, this movie, like I remember going to see it in the theater, and I was really excited about it because at the time I was actually a fan of Paul Stanky Anderson, and like he'd done Shopping, which was like his first movie out of the UK. He'd done Mortal Kombat. He'd done Event Horizon. So I was like, oh, like this looks like a cool movie. I love Kurt Russell.
Was freaking awesome.
So basically, when I went to go see this in the theater, I was just like bored for like 2/3 of it until like the final battle scenes at the end. And by then, like I just kind of was checked out, didn't care. This movie actually played better on the rewatch. Like I hadn't seen this since I went and saw it in the theater in like, what was it, 98, something like that. And so I was actually surprised to find that like I was enjoying myself watching this movie. I wouldn't say I liked it. I just enjoyed the experience of having watched it again. So like I'm giving it solid 2 stars, which is great for a Stanky Anderson movie, in my opinion.
For as much salt as you dumped on it, yeah, 2's pretty good, man.
All right, that's it for
2.5, 3, 2.5, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
About the same.
2.5 movie.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for Soldier. Next up is Escape from Absalom.
No escape.
No escape.
You knock it off. This isn't Russia.
Jesus.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the channel, get some awesome merch in return, go to saltynerdstore.com and grab some of our t-shirts. And we're pretty soon we'll be working on some hats and other cool stuff. But yeah, you guys can get our official logo that I'm wearing right now. Vader has a different style on as well. And all the stuff behind him is available as well on the website. Please help support us. We'd really appreciate it. And if you do buy some of our merch, we would love to see pictures. So send us a picture. We'll share it on Instagram and on Twitter and stuff like that.
We've also got a limited edition Firefly t-shirt.
That's right.
That's up. But in addition to that, we're also going to be making a limited edition Star Trek t-shirt. That the Popcast guys are designing specifically for us.
Oh, it's going to be really freaking good then. Those Popcast guys got a graphic designer on their team.
Yeah, Brian, who's part of our Saturday panel, he texted me and he's like, hey, would you guys mind if we made you like a Star Trek shirt? Because like our Star Trek streams are doing really good. And I was like, yeah, sure, go for it.
Right on. And don't forget, type in salty at the checkout counter for 10% off. All right, the next movie on our list, No Escape, 1994, aka Escape from Absalom Island. Tom, take it away.
Yeah, I got Jude's notes. So what do we got over here? We want to go over the budget or the box office? Well,
so you tell us the budget. And then
I'll tell you the budget.
Then they guess the box office.
Compared to Soldier, 20 million was the budget.
Okay, it's Kurt Russell's salary.
Yeah.
I'm going to say box office draw is 28 million. It couldn't have done well.
There's a decent cast in this movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good cast.
Now it's a good cast.
Well,
back then,
Ray Liota.
It was a good cast back then.
Ray Liota was famous then.
Okay.
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. Bishop.
Is this
Bishop.
Whoever Bishop's real name is.
It's Matt Vader's best friend.
We're not going to tell that
Lance
story. I'm going to say 42 million.
It's a bold statement.
So I don't know.
Matt, you already know, yeah?
Yes, I do.
22 million.
Okay.
No, it was 15.
It says 22 million in writing.
Well, Jude is notoriously.
They always have this.
They have this
argument.
fight.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Matt always goes, well, actually, and then Jude gets mad. And then they have a little.
You want me to get mad?
And
Yeah,
then
get
This
mad.
goddamn bullshit! I'll just read what was given to me.
It'll be like, am I doing this or you?
All right.
So
Give us the synopsis.
It's a short one. I don't think she liked this movie.
She kind of phoned it in this week, didn't she?
Literally, yeah. This has been an email. Jude sent me an email.
Here, read this shit.
Yeah, not a text. It's straight up email. It's like okay. Ray Liota don't take orders from anyone anymore. When he refuses to take orders from the Supermax warden, he gets dumped onto the island of misfit boys and has to figure out how to get him and his new best friend, babyface Kevin Dillon, off the island. Unfortunately, there's no escape.
that's it.
That's it.
I told you it was a short one.
So the first
Jude.
Okay, so first of all, this movie takes place in 2022,
It's so funny.
which is amazing.
Which is this year.
Which is this year, the year that we're recording this podcast.
The year of our Lord.
The better thing is it's made in 1994.
And-
so they figured in 20 years, this is the world.
So
They weren't far off.
They're not far off.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
this-
it's happening right now.
honestly, this is a great concept. I've been.
well, it's not like we haven't had prisoner islands before.
The whole escape
Australia.
from New York, the whole
Georgia.
escape from New York, the whole escape from LA, this movie, and there's probably other ones. I love that idea. Just take all the criminals and people we don't want, just throw them on a fucking island somewhere, and let it go.
So the funny thing about this movie is that it's based off of a novel called The Penal Colony from
Yes, I have
1987.
insight on this as well.
And it was written by Richard Hurley, and he basically, in the novel, it's this island that's right off the coast of the UK where basically prisons are being overcrowded. So the government starts dumping their criminals on this island. And
As one does.
And the main character in this, so like he's wrongly convicted of a sex murder. And then like he's dumped on this island, and on the island there are two factions, one that's like civilized and the other that's kind of feral. And in order to get into the civilized part, you have to survive a week out with the feral people. And so it's about this guy's journey and redemption, all this other stuff. So apparently the book is actually very good. So I don't know what happened in the adaptation for the movie.
So I remember looking into it because I liked this movie when it came out. I was like, I don't know, young. And I remember looking into it, and apparently the book is really gay. Yeah, like
do you care to expand upon that?
Yeah, well, because it's prison, right?
Right.
But like the civilized society, they're all like decent people. So like in the scene where they're all like dancing and all that for like Christmas,
Oh yeah.
it's a hint to the book where that society was very gay. And like when the guys die in the boat, there was an overreaction by some of the guys, and it was because it was like their lover that was in the boat.
Wow.
And yeah, and so it was just a weird thing because they definitely couldn't put that in the movie in 1994. That was still pretty taboo.
Yeah,
like,
don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, it was still don't ask, don't tell. I mean, like, what did we have? Will and Grace back then, maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like super forefront. And it was a big part of the book. And I remember reading that, and I was like, oh, that's such a weird thing.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Yeah. And so that whole civilized society was more like, no, we love each other. And the other ones are like, no, we eat each other.
So going into this movie, I had no expectations whatsoever. I knew it was a prison escape movie. I don't think it quite fits the sci-fi title. Well, once they get on the island, it's not sci-fi anymore. I don't think.
He has that gun.
That's a rocket launcher.
Had those weird helicopters.
They were just helicopters.
I know.
It doesn't count as sci-fi.
They had two rotors.
They had satellites.
They did have satellites.
That's not sci-fi.
They had a command center.
Okay, so like when I was watching this first like 20 minutes or so, maybe even less than that, when they're in the actual prison, I thought this was going to be the movie, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's going to be like Escape from Alcatraz, but like with sci-fi weird shit, holograms and lasers and stuff like that. No, they get rid of that motif real quick, and they move into like Lost Boys on a Planet and Lord of the Flies. And I was just like, I once they went to the island, I was so checked out. I was so hyped.
Really?
I want the concrete walls and metal bars and guys with crazy helmets and like weird like.
Oh, you wanted Fortress.
I wanted sci-fi. I did.
I was waiting for the moment to strike.
Fortress was the last movie I watched on this list, and it's the only one that fits all three criteria.
You're not wrong. This is. I don't know if I'd call this really sci-fi either, but I feel like it just kind of like.
It's dystopian.
It's set in the future. It's dystopian.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I love that
I
love that the
Set in
warden.
the future of 2022.
2022.
I love that the warden of the prison is the mayor from New York in
Godzilla.
in Godzilla 98.
You know, pretty soon Alex is going to start taking his kids to movies, and it's going to be in the future 2062.
Oh yeah,
and
my kids are.
They're going to go to the movies when they're like 35 and go, well, shit, this isn't cool. Why don't I have flying cars and stations on Mars and stuff? Well, they probably will.
They might,
but
who knows?
who knows? But
anyway, I liked the first couple minutes of this movie. I was like digging it. I was like, okay, he's going to escape from the prison. He's going to kill the warden. I was all about it. And then they went to the island, and I was like, God damn it, dude. I like it's the same thing with like the garbage planet. You know, everything's filmed in a junkyard somewhere off the strip of Las Vegas.
They filmed it in Australia.
Yeah.
North Queensland.
So was Fortress. Both
like,
were Australia.
Like they straight up stole the same armor from Dustin Hoffman's Hook movie.
what was all left in the
where they had like reeds tied together for
only
armor.
had $20 million to
if you're stuck
Ray
on
Liota took 10.
if you're stuck on an island with a bunch of savages that want to eat you, what are you going to make armor out of?
I don't know. Where'd they get the freaking V8 Chevy engine from?
I don't know. It's dumped on the water.
Where'd they get all the speakers for their Christmas party?
Dude, they had supply drops.
Yeah.
This is the second movie that has
Garbage
a weird...
washes up on the shore.
Yeah, you never been to a deserted island? There's things there.
Yeah, they literally show Kevin J. O'Connell scavenging from like the ocean. So like he's got his little group of scavengers, and they're pulling shit out of the ocean, and then like he barters and trades.
He's like, I want your boots. I really want your boots.
It's not the same, but growing up on the riverbank, they would flood every year, right? So like when I was a kid,
tell us more stories.
No, for real. We had a great time after the flood every year. We would go down to the river, and we had like 5 miles of riverbank that we would explore, and we would find all kinds of shit.
I would really love to hear how you found a V8 Chevy engine
we found
drifting in the ocean.
We found boats.
Well, there was no distributor.
Fishing gear, freaking all kinds of stuff.
You generally find fishing gear down by the water.
Yeah, found dead goats hanging in a tree where the water line was up one time.
Don't go over there.
Yeah,
oh, did you guys hear about the freaking barrel they found in Lake Mead now? Because the level.
Saw a picture of it.
Yeah,
of course.
Well,
kind of gross.
Don't forget. So, like, there was civilization on that island before they turned it into a prison, because there was like a resort that the outsiders were living in.
Yeah.
It was like
So there were probably cars around there that they got.
That's right, because Don Raphael was the bad guy.
That is fair. That is fair.
You guys,
this is what happens when they turn Isla Nublar into a prison island.
Oh, if there was dinosaurs in this movie,
Isla Nublar.
oh, dude,
You didn't see No Escape 2? Dinosaurs.
We have dinosaurs in there.
Yeah, all about them. Yep.
Don't tease me, Tom.
Yeah, look it up.
I will watch the shit out of that movie.
Don't fact check,
dude. A freaking an island escape movie with dinosaurs?
No,
God,
they don't come until like the 5th act. It's like all of a sudden
the 5th act.
5th act.
You know, I was a little bit. I didn't know if you were going to like this movie or not.
I don't.
But I was thinking it was more because, it has Ray Liotta as the main character in it. But, he was good. He was good.
He's better in those gangster movies.
The funny thing is like, so up to this point, Ray Liotta was known for like the crime movies, the dramas. And at this point in his career, he was trying to pull a Keanu Reeves and kind of pivot to more action-oriented stuff. And this was his big, quote-unquote, action movie. And because it bombed hard, like he never really kind of followed that up. And this was also, I think, the first like non-crime movie that he was like the main character in, and audiences just didn't respond to him very well.
See, this part of the movie's cool. I'm sorry, we're watching it right now, but it's the scene where the guy, he's threatening the dude.
It's 2 different movies
with a giant tape.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and I like the first half, or not even the first half, but the first part of this movie better. My favorite line in this movie is when he's being taunted by the warden of the prison, and he walks away from him and he does something. He's like, "Don't ever turn your back on me again." And then the next time he turns his back on him, he freaking grabs him and puts him at gunpoint. I'm like, yes, that's the shit right there.
Did any of you pay attention to who is the director of this movie?
Nope. Who is it?
So it's Martin Campbell, the director of GoldenEye and Casino Royale and Green Lantern.
The shitty Green Lantern?
The shitty Green Lantern. Is there another Green Lantern?
I guess.
I wasn't aware of.
If you watch the movie, I don't think it's shot poorly. It's just the premise is just really hard to handle. It's just not a good premise.
The funny thing is that
I don't think it looks bad. I think it's pretty well done.
Martin Campbell is like at this point in his career, he was kind of like a gun for hire director. And he turned down this movie like 3 different times to direct it. And finally he was like, you know what? I really need money for a new house, so I'm going to direct it. And that was his whole motivation for directing this movie, was so he could afford a new house.
I mean, the idea is better. I think
that command center.
It almost has like a Hunger Game vibe to it, where like they're on the island, but the island is being monitored by like high-tech facilities and stuff. It needed like
I love the whole concept of this movie.
Do you?
Yeah,
I really like it. Yeah.
Did you really like this movie? Like genuinely like this movie?
I like this movie when I watched it 12 times 20 years ago.
Okay.
That's exactly where I'm at.
What about now?
Where am I at now? Still liked it. Still enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all of these movies are going to be kind of in that same vein for me, to where these are just movies that are
Guilty
in my
pleasures.
Guilty pleasure fun spot. They're not great. I'm not going to lie and sit here and try to defend people from movie snobs like you, who obviously
movie snobs,
can't enjoy a fun movie. But they're not great movies, but they're fun movies, and these are the kind of movies that I like to watch, and they're just fun, and they're not trying to like have a big preachy message, even though there are some messages there. It's just a fun thing. He gets dropped on an island. There's 2 tribes. One's a bunch of savages. One's a bunch of peaceful dudes that are trying to escape.
You know what that is, right?
Hold on.
I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, okay, so the outsiders, right? That's kind of like the representation of hardcore capitalism with the leader, and then the hippie freaking town where everybody's peaceful and everybody shares. That's socialism.
But they're really not.
Is that what you're
They're
going to
not
go
that
with?
peaceful.
I'm kind of leaning on
You're
that.
really going capitalism is the cannibals and communism is the happy.
No, not communism. I said socialism. It's different.
I know exactly what you meant.
Slight difference.
I thought there was fun characters. The leader of the cannibal, the bad dudes.
That's Don Raphael from The Mask of Zorro.
He is
Also
funny.
directed by Martin Campbell.
He's funny to me. I really.
He kind of does have a good sense of humor.
He's a little bit over the top,
Yeah.
but he's. I think he had a lot of fun playing that character.
It seemed like it.
You know what I mean?
What about Kevin J. O'Connor's fun-sized lover?
What? Did
Did
you
I-
watch an extended version that I didn't see?
No, I'm implying a little bit, but Kevin J. O'Connor had his fun-sized sidekick
I told you the homosexual angle is like a thing. It's a real
exactly.
thing.
And when he dies, he's very distraught. But
there's not one woman in the movie.
But for Vader, that's one part of the trifecta in this movie.
Gay stuff.
There's no trifecta here, bro.
I said one part.
Bring in the boys.
But no, I think there's a lot of characters in this movie that I kind of got a kick out of. The like over in Father's Village, I like the guy who's like in charge of all the trades and everything. It's like, hey, those are really cool boots.
Yeah, let me have those boots.
I mean, I'll make a deal with you. We'll do a verbal agreement.
That's Kevin J. O'Connor.
Yeah,
Kevin
J. O'Connor from The Mummy.
The Mummy. He's the bad guy in The Mummy, right?
Right.
He's Benny from The Mummy.
Benny.
Yeah, Benny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Mummy.
There's a lot of people. I was watching it because I've never seen this movie before, and like when I saw the bad guy from The Outsiders, and I was watching it, I'm like, I know that dude's face from somewhere. And I could tell his mannerisms were there, and I'm like, I've seen him somewhere before. And then it dawned on me that he was Don Raphael from The Mask of Zorro, and I freaking love that movie. And I was oh, that's him. Okay.
You know what's funny is like when I saw this movie in the theater for the first time, so Stuart Wilson, who plays Malik, who's the main bad guy in this movie, I thought he was really miscast because I was like, this guy's not scary. But like upon rewatching it, I was like, you know what? I like how he plays this villain. Like he's not like
he's enjoying himself.
Like even though he looks like a savage, he was probably like a copy repair guy.
It's like that scene where he comes in and there's all the rival gangs that make up the Outsiders,
right?
I guess, what they're called. And he just like dumps all the gang leaders' heads on the steps, and he's like, "Guys, we need to get our shit together here."
Yeah.
And he goes, I just really want to be in charge. And he dumps all the leaders' heads out. And it's like, so we're going to be cool now, okay? And if you don't do what I say, I'll just fucking kill you.
And that's what he does. The one dude who questions him, like, well, why do you get to say what we do? He just chops his freaking head off. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, that's what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
Right. And they're all like, oh, so okay.
I didn't understand the freaking, the gladiator battle above the water pit thing. I thought
pure entertainment.
Yeah, it's just
they were just hazing the new guy.
I thought I was like, well, shouldn't there be like spikes or something down there? Make it a little bit more intimidating. But
that's too much work.
The giant guy with like the mangled blade wasn't enough for you.
Nah.
Yeah, but Merrick was my favorite character in this movie. I was like, let's see more.
He was a villain who loved his job.
Like for me, I could not figure out how he rose to power in the first place. But the dude's brutal. He comes off as like, hey, fellas.
Yeah.
How's it going?
He's your best friend until he kills you.
Yeah, but and no remorse. So total sadist.
His character has some natural charisma.
And they implied that there was a previous relationship between him and the father. Not gay necessarily, but just like they knew each other. Well, it could have been.
I'm telling you, the whole thing is like subtle things.
One of the interesting things about this movie is there are 0 female characters. Like
Zero.
You don't see a single woman in this movie.
Nope. It's total
sausage fest. 100%.
And no hot guys either. They're all dirty.
You told me Kevin Dillon didn't do it for you?
Kevin Dillon's, he
didn't pop that shirt once. You got to pop that shirt. You want to be sexy. No, he was terrible.
Nobody was.
He was probably the worst character.
Like
if
they really
end up there anyway.
Look, if they really wanted to go that direction and lean on that like little message, every single one of these dudes would have been ripped and half naked.
Oh yeah.
It would have been like Road Warrior half naked.
I've seen that movie.
It would have been a Don Dakota movie.
I've seen that movie.
They would have had
it's dustier though.
They would have had leather with studs on it and like half naked and ripped as hell, like shredded dudes. These are all like fat, overweight, kind of like grimy looking dudes.
Yeah, it would have been kind of funny if they had like one dude with a big mohawk and a little blonde gimp dude running around with a collar behind him. That would have been pretty funny.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been like Channing Tatum on a leash.
So do you guys remember the character Killian in this movie, the one-armed moonshiner guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Did you recognize the actor who played that?
I didn't.
No, who was that?
So the actor's name is Don Henderson, and he's the guy who Darth Vader chokes in A New Hope.
No way.
Yeah.
The rebel officer?
No. He's the Imperial officer who basically says like, your devotion to your archaic religion.
Oh, okay.
And then he's the guy who's like, this Death Star, and he's like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
I'd love to read that acting cred sheet because it sounds like he was just the guy that Vader choked that no one knew his name. Yeah. And that one-armed moonshine guy in this movie.
He's the dude who has like the really terrible haircut in New Hope. Yeah. Okay. And he's like,
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that's a cool little tidbit. I like that. I never would have thought about that.
I just like this movie. I had a good time with it.
Okay.
Look, it's a 90s action movie in its purest form. It's a macho 90s action movie. It's a little too macho. I do want
Too macho?
Well, I want hot chicks in my macho movies.
I got you.
Right?
Okay.
I'm gonna keep talking about Northman because I liked it so much. But it was the most macho movie I've ever seen. But there was hot chick. One.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
And she's super naked. And I'm like, you know
she's
what?
smearing period blood on people's faces.
She was so awesome.
Wait.
You didn't see
Don't spoil it for me. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's kind of a spoiler.
Oh, I'm gonna go see that movie.
The movie is rough.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Do not take your wife or kids.
Oh no. This is a me time.
It's rougher than you think it's gonna be.
I need to go see that movie.
I loved it. But it's right in my wheelhouse. And this is the same kind of movie to me. It's just very
Dated.
It's not though.
It's not.
I think it is.
It's not
It
dated
is
though.
what it is.
The costumes and
It's fun.
They could make this same movie today and it would look exactly the same.
And it's set today too.
For less money. we
2022.
could make this movie for $1 million. No problem. I don't know why it costs 20.
They might use a different helicopter from the scene where they dump them on the building.
just a rotorless helicopter that just kind of like hovers in.
I mean, honestly, let's just be real with helicopters. It's not even required.
What is a fort going to look like that you build out of wood that you cut out of the jungle?
I'm with you,
it's
man.
2022. It's going to look more sci-fi.
No.
Totally with you.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I understand the aesthetic once they're on the island.
For me, like a hot chick warden, that would have sealed the deal for me.
Oh yeah, well
that would have made the movie awesome.
Kind of like how they did the remake of Death Race, right?
Kind of like that, yeah. Give me a hot chick warden, and this movie would have been better for me.
Megan Fox as the warden.
Yeah, but like wearing like really like sassy business suits, you know, and she was like a power woman. I would be into that.
Hashtag girl boss.
Thank you.
So same question they made for the last movie. Would they make this movie now?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see
They'd
why
make
not.
it very gay though.
It would
Do you think so?
It would be
It
super
would be on
gay.
Amazon or Netflix, and it would basically be hard to watch.
Yeah, when Ray Liota got dumped on the island, one of his things, they'd probably like gang rape him when they brought him to the,
Or tried
the
to.
village or something.
Yeah, I mean, Outlander's very famous, and it's also very famous for man rape. So chicks love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't go there with this.
It's before all that. It's too long.
it's just-
But if it's a prison movie, like, doesn't it kind of have to be more realistic?
No.
In the 90s, you don't think that happened?
They hinted at things back then, man. It was
Have you watched like
You don't remember the 90s?
Have you watched modern prison movies?
I try not to.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Shawshank Redemption.
Like, if you don't kill the person trying to rape you in the first 15 minutes of the movie, you're dead.
Well, that's just them trying to scare you into going to prison. Prison's actually really fun. They have water slides.
I've only spent one night in a jail cell and I never want to do it again.
I mean, you ever just hang out with the boys?
Somebody took my cereal, man.
you get a nice place to
just hanging out with the boys.
He's like, hey, you gonna eat that? And I'm like, nope. Here you go.
You work out every day, you know?
You gonna eat that cornbread?
You can have my cornbread. I don't fucking need it.
You get that cocktail.
Like,
Dang it.
Get a nice, comfortable bed. Get food to eat. You have internet access now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like
You had a wood shop. You make things out of wood.
you can order shit.
Stamp license plate.
You can have your friends order you shit from Amazon and stuff and send it in.
You can make wine in your toilet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like summer camp.
You know, it's funny because I was watching this and I'm like, this doesn't seem that bad.
It seems fun to me.
But I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
if I'm going to be on a prison, right? If I'm going to be imprisoned, put it on a tropical island. I'm down.
Well, I mean that's even a plot point where the insiders or whoever the civilized part are, they're like, hey, at least like here we got a semblance of freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
Honestly, we can get into the politics of world control and all, but honestly, the world we live in is not that much fun.
No,
I would
it's
love
not.
to go on an adventure and slay a dragon. I'll never be able to. It'll never happen. This is the closest thing I can get. If I have to go to the prison world so that I can wield a battle axe and like chop people's heads off and become like the king of the barbarians.
But no chicks.
no women.
They got coconuts.
What the fuck are you going to do with a coconut?
Just
You know what I'm gonna do with the coconut.
Oh, that supple coconut meat.
It's pulpy.
I'm gonna go commit a crime right now, right?
It's all hairy. It's more realistic.
I'm gonna go commit a crime. That's like a lifelong term. I'm gonna just tell a judge when they're sentencing me.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, man, can I go to that island place?
Can you just send me the island in the UK?
Can you send me to the Absalom place? That'd be really kind of fun.
There's the worst effect in the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
it is the worst effect I've ever seen.
So there's a scene in this movie where Ray Liota gets hit by like a tranq dart, and he falls off this cliff into the water below.
300-foot cliff.
And actually, like that shot was responsible for the opening shot of Goldeneye, because like it was like kind of the precursor to that for Martin Campbell's movie.
Oh, nice.
Where you know, if you remember when we did our Pierce Brosnan Bond week,
they had the guy actually jumped off that dam.
And so like the reason they were able to do that shot in Goldeneye was because of this movie and that shot that we just watched.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Nice little tidbit.
And also talking about getting away to a remote island. So Ernie Hudson's in this movie, the Ghostbuster.
Is he the only black guy in the movie?
Yeah.
It could be.
Pretty close.
But the reason that he took this movie is because the movie that he did right before this was The Crow, and he was so he was so traumatized from the death of Brandon Lee that he was like, I just want to get away from the world. And so like when they offered to pay him to go to Australia for like 9 months or however long, he was like, that's as far away from Hollywood as I can get. I'm going.
That's interesting.
And that's the reason that he took the role in this movie.
That's very interesting.
I love those insights, Matthew. Thank you so much.
Check out our Crow episode where we talked about it.
You watched The Crow?
Yeah.
That's a tough
It
rewatch.
was
Audio?
It is not a good movie.
It's on our best. It's on our best of playlist.
I love that movie.
I love it.
It's one of my favorite.
It doesn't mean
movies.
it's good.
Fire it up. Fire it up. Yeah.
It's a good movie. All right, let's do final thoughts and give it a rating. Vader.
What did I give the last one? 3?
2
and a
three,
half?
yeah.
Yeah, 3. I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna go 3. This is just one of those movies that's right in my personal wheelhouse. I enjoy it. It's nostalgic for me. It puts me in my happy place, and I don't know what else to say about it. So
that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
That's what movies are supposed to do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it does.
Cool.
I watched it several times, I believe, if I remember, when it was in the theater. I own this movie. Well, I owned it on VHS until I got rid of that collection, and I'd buy it again if I saw it in the discount bin. So yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Final thoughts. Give it a rating, Tom.
I'm right with Vader. I think it's shot well. I think the production value is good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I mean, it's got some weirdness to it. Yeah, and you can pick anything apart. I mean, we could sit here and pick any movie apart if we wanted to.
That's what we do.
I think, but I think it delivers on what you think it's supposed to be. I think that there's a good backstory going on. The opening scene where it's just the commander standing there and you don't understand what's going on.
Oh, and then he shoots him.
Shoots him right in the head.
Yeah.
Is probably the coolest thing in the movie.
It goes full private.
And it's like the first, it's a long scene and you don't know what's happening and it sets up the whole rest of the movie. It's very cool. I think the movie's very well done. It's 3 stars because it's not a great movie. There's not a lot of draw unless this is what you want to see. And it's got what I want to see. This is a popcorn eating, lay on my couch on a Saturday afternoon and say, I remember this movie. And then I watch it again. And you know what? It doesn't disappoint. Like Fortress, disappointed. Because I loved it when I was young. And man, this held up. It's got a good cast. Maybe not so much the best cast, but they're recognizable actors. It's not just a bunch of B people you've never seen before. 3 stars, worth watching. But if they gave me a hot chick warden,
extra star.
Give me a hot chick warden who wore like see-through blouses, 3.5 stars.
We're gonna remake this.
She's just doing her laundry and Kurt Russell staring at it. Like, is this scene in all of these movies?
Boobies.
Yeah.
And there's no boobs in this movie.
Yeah,
No, not even a little bit.
I mean, for Sausage Fest, there isn't even any dick.
That's what I'm saying.
It's weird.
No one's popping shirts.
Like, there should be.
There's
something.
no oil.
Just hairless Kevin Dillon.
All right.
That's all you got to go with.
Yeah, hairless Kevin Dillon. Like, no, we got to keep him around.
He looks like a wet fucking chihuahua half the movie. He's like,
Okay, just final thoughts. Give it a rating.
So I remember when I went and saw this in the theater, I was very disappointed walking out, and I was hyped for the movie because the commercials I thought were really cool. And I haven't seen it since then. Like this wasn't a movie that I watched like multiple times. I went and saw it in the theater. I was like, that was a movie. And then like I moved on with my life. But upon rewatching it, I was like, really am enjoying this movie.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a much more enjoyable movie than I remember it being. And I think it's just because like I'm old enough to appreciate what they were going for now. The cast in this movie, like, you know, at the time it was just kind of like C-level, B-level cast, but like upon rewatching, it's like, oh, I recognize so many of these actors and they're all really good. The bad guy, Merrick, you know, like I have a new appreciation for him having done the rewatch. Like he's actually like a really interesting villain. And I really, like, he was the best part of this movie for me. Like every time he was on screen, I was just like, yeah, give me more of this guy.
He had a good time with that role, didn't he?
He really did. Like, and I was surprised that like, I checked out his IMDb and like, he hasn't really done like a whole lot of stuff. Like he's been in other Martin Campbell movies, but for the most part, like he hasn't really like kind of broken out. And I'm like, this is a guy who I think should be in more movies because he's really good. Yeah, overall, like, it's a pretty solid movie. Like I can't really criticize it too much, especially considering like the time in which it was made. So I got to go, you know, 3 no boobs out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah. 3 out of 5. Okay. I like this movie better than I like Soldier. I had more fun with it. The villain is by far my favorite part.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly because I know him from Zorro and I like that movie a lot. And when I saw him in this, I was like, it added a new extra layer to it that I wasn't expecting. Like you said, there's a big cast in this movie that you're like, oh shit, there's a lot of people in this. This is really cool. And my favorite moment is when the bad guy dies in this movie. It's almost identical to how the same actor dies in The Mask of Zorro, where he gets dragged from an elevator and falls off the same freaking like wooden elevator thing. It's the exact same death scene in both movies. And I was like, sweet.
I wanted to ask you guys, sorry to interrupt you, but so this movie just kind of ends. It's like, you know, Ray Liota gets on the helicopter, flies away, and the warden with his stooge are like kind of stranded on the island. Then it like cuts to black.
And you hear the noise.
I was wondering what you guys thought of the ending and if you think it could have ended better.
Part of my synopsis for this was I did not like the ending. I felt very unsatisfied. Like at least let me see the warden die. Like show me that scene.
Maybe he lived, or maybe they put him on a pole and stuck him.
Oh, they turned him into pork.
And they No, they definitely did the Ewok thing with him.
Yeah.
He's on a spit.
He's on a spit over a fire with an apple in his mouth.
But you know, the more I think about this movie, the more I want more. This is the kind of movie I could see somebody like on a streaming service revisiting and giving us like backstories of some of the characters on this show.
Turn it into like a series.
Turn it into like a series. Like series. It's like tell us about Father. Tell us about Father's Asian bodyguard dude. I want to know what that guy did.
One of the interesting things was like everyone thought Father was innocent, and then like he confesses to Ray Liota. He's like, "No, I killed my wife. Yeah, I deserve to be here." I thought that was an interesting little twist.
It's like give us No Escape the story.
I can see this being like an Apple streaming show.
Yeah, something on Apple that nobody watches, but it's really good.
Something Apple will totally do. Production value is top notch.
Yeah,
excellent B-level actors.
$50 million per episode.
$50 million an episode. No one
for sticks.
And Vader's the only one reviewing it.
I'd totally do it.
That's our podcast. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's like every Apple show.
Yeah, we talk about shows that nobody else talks about. And movies.
Hey, good time to plug Outer Range.
Yeah, our live streams on Monday nights when nobody's watching.
Plug it right now. It's a good time.
Outer Range. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's a good sci-fi show.
It's a fun show.
It's a good show.
They have void holes.
Void holes.
Yeah.
It's a big gaping void hole.
Yeah. That's going to be the title and the thumbnail next week. Big gaping void hole.
What's your score?
I like it better than Soldier, but I don't know if I can give it more than a 2.5 because it's not.
It's fair.
The rest of us gave it 3s.
I know, but
you can't give it a 3.
I gotta make room for Fortress.
Well, that's
4-star movie or something.
No, I don't know. It's still a 2.5 for me, but it's better than Soldier.
2.5's fine.
That's all. It's
2.51.
Like middle of the road. 2.51. Yeah, there you go. Slightly better than Soldier. That's it. All right. That's it for Escape from Absalom or No Escape, whatever you want to call it. Next up is our favorite movie of the week, apparently.
Why are you so stuck on the foreign title for this movie?
Because it's better than No Escape. I think it's a more interesting title.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want to know why you're stuck with that.
Because it's called No Escape. I told you, because when I searched for this movie, there was literally like 15 movies called No Escape. And I was like, that's a boring title. Escape from Absalom, there is no other movie called that.
Everyone else is a big enough movie fan to know exactly what Vader was talking about.
Oh, the Ray Liota, Lance Hendrickson movie.
There you go. There you go.
With the Ghostbuster guy.
Yeah, isn't Ernie Hudson in that?
All the gay dudes on the jungle island. Okay, yeah, that one.
The sexy warden?
Yeah. But they have the giant orgy in the swamp pit. Yeah. It's like, Jesus.
I didn't see that.
Wow, that's in the director's
that was
cut.
edited out.
No, that's in the European version.
Oh, yeah, that's actually very possible. Like the what is it, the Fast and Furious in Europe release? It's a very different movie, apparently.
I got family. All right, guys. Next up is The Fortress, or is it just Fortress?
Just Fortress.
I think
Just Fortress.
Fortress.
With
Quit making up
McLeod.
titles.
With McLeod.
Yeah, Christopher Lambert can't put two words together. So Fortress.
Fortress.
With the Highlander. That can be only one.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast and download a epic freaking mobile game, go to saltynerd.com/DC, download Dragon Champions. It's a really fun mobile game where you get to collect heroes and upgrade them and go on campaigns and little war tirades and stuff like that. And you can join our guild, the Salty Nerd Podcast Guild, if you reach level 20. So when you download the game, don't forget to go into the settings and type in Salty for the promo code. That gives you access to some little perks to help you along your way. It helps you get to level 20 really freaking quick. So head over there, download the mobile game. It really helps us out. Make sure you type in that promo code. That way we get credit with the developers of the game. But they really support us. We want to return the favor. So we'd appreciate it. And we can't wait to see you in the guild. There's only 25 spots open, so hurry up. All right, the last movie on our list, Fortress. I can't wait for this. Tom,
My God.
Take it away. Take it away.
I've been bitching about this for a couple of days. Like, I love terrible movies, and Jude, we're talking about it's part of our friendship.
How much did this movie
You don't even
cost?
want to know.
How much movie did this cost?
How much movie did this cost?
Jesus Christ.
This movie did cost $12 million.
That's it?
And $6 million of that was for Christopher Lambert, right?
Christopher Lambert.
$12 million bucks?
Actually, I have it at $8 million.
That's cheaper?
Even better.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe the marketing?
I'm skeptical about these numbers. I'm very skeptical. So I want to see what you say afterwards.
So
yeah, $12 million.
There's actually a story behind the budget on this movie.
Right.
I cannot wait to hear any story about this movie because this movie is stupid.
Okay. How much did it make in the box office, do you think, Vader?
$12 million.
Oh, it made $12 million?
No. Box office $12 million. You did see this film. What do you think it made?
Budget was $12 million.
Yeah, budget was $12 million.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
So box
Sorry.
office.
I'm very excited about telling you how much money this movie made.
$2.5 million.
Solid guess.
4
You guys,
million.
okay. This is Jude's number, and I made her go double check 3 times. According to Jude, I don't know if this is the internet. Yeah, no, this says per Jude. $48 million.
It made $48 million?
$48 million?
No.
Thank you.
That's 100%.
Thank you. There's no way that's right.
I don't know where she got
Like,
that
it
number.
made more money than all of, I mean, Jesus God.
No,
40,
it made 6.7 million worldwide.
Okay.
where did the 48 come from?
Is that like
Google.
movie rentals?
I don't know.
Is it get syndicated from HBO or something?
I think this was a VHS movie. I don't think this was in theaters, was it?
No, it was in theaters.
yeah.
Yeah.
My God, they released this nationwide?
Christopher Lambert was a
He's
thing,
big.
dude.
This-
He was a thing.
Yeah, well, he sucked in Highlander, and he sucked in this.
He sucks in
he sucks
everything.
He
Yeah.
sucked in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
He sucks. He's weird looking. Apparently, he's blind.
He's got a weird accent
Well, he's a big draw overseas, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Why?
because he's Christopher Lambert.
He was Tarzan, which was a very
Yeah.
popular
Oh,
movie.
there
for
you
kids.
go. Yeah.
He was Greystoke. He was the Greystoke Tarzan. Right?
Anyway, give us the one-line synopsis from
She wrote one sentence. Connor McLeod's wife is pregnant with their second child, but there can be only one.
That's a good movie right there.
You know what? I mean, that nails the movie.
Yeah,
it really does.
She wrote one more sentence. I'm leaving it right there. That sums up this whole dipshit fucking movie.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
I would go to jail so many times in this universe.
Yeah,
Would you?
yeah, you and all your kids.
I feel like this movie needed an AC/DC soundtrack.
It needs something. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Like Maximum Overdrive,
Look,
that kind of a
it had
soundtrack.
like pervy, like porn stuff going on the whole time.
Yeah.
And Red Foreman,
Red Foreman.
just like edging himself every day.
Dude, Red Foreman is watching pornographic films from your dreams and jacking to them.
Well, he's not because he can't.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have a dick.
But he can love, can't he?
He can twist his nipples.
It's so weird.
This movie is so weird.
Yeah,
no scene makes any sense.
So Kurtwood Smith, Red Foreman, who plays the warden of this movie, he's a cyborg. And he's monitoring the dreams of the various prisoners that he has under his command. And he becomes obsessed with Christopher Lambert's wife, who's also in the prison, because there's a separate level for female prisoners. And so he brings her into his inner sanctum because he's got some weird like obsession with her that's sexual, but like he can never express himself sexually because he's part robot. And so like that's like the whole thing where like, you know, the wife is able to facilitate Christopher Lambert escaping and rescuing.
You know what
we should probably set up why they're in prison to begin with.
Well, because they have too many kids.
No. So like you're only allowed one kid in this dystopian future, and they had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And so she accidentally got pregnant again. And for some reason, it was an accident.
They said that he got his tubes tied. Just very subtly mentioned it.
Yeah, so like she gets
So
pregnant
weird.
Again, and even though they don't have a kid, they're not allowed to try again for another one. And so they're trying to get up to Canada out of the dystopian United States in order to have their child. But in order to fool the scanners to keep them from discovering that she's pregnant, she's wearing like this special vest.
Like a lead vest or something.
Yeah, and the guard sees that vest, and it's like, she's trying to get past our scans.
It was the first crime of this movie. And it's just crime after crime.
I gotta say though, Lauren Lachlan, who plays the wife in this,
she's hot.
Yeah,
Dude,
she's very attractive.
It was hilarious to me because like when Red Foreman was like, you're gonna come with me into my inner circle or whatever, and she was just like, oh yeah, totally. And she's like, at that point, like she goes from prisoner in a cell block wearing like a jumpsuit to now she's got like silk robes.
Yeah, but now she's the warden's mistress.
She's sleeping in a fucking giant bed.
You were really skipping ahead.
Well,
But
but it was kind of funny because like Kurtwood Smith, Red Foreman, the warden, he's like watching her in the showers and like all this stuff.
yeah.
And there's the scene where like Christopher Lambert is dreaming he's having sex with his wife, and so like they cut to the sex scene where like she's on top of him, and you can clearly see Christopher Lambert's balls.
Really?
No, you can. Like,
Get out of here.
Rewatch that scene; they're right there.
I'm good.
Are you editing this? All right, I want to see his balls on.
I can't do that. I can put all I can do is put our logo over it.
No, I noticed them because I was looking at her butt when she was doing the sex
Sure,
scene.
that's what he says.
I want to see his balls now. That's
Fast forward the movie.
They're clearly
Fast forward the movie. We have it playing. See if we can find it while we're talking about this.
I feel like Christopher Lambert has a very small penis and like very long balls, like mid-thigh.
We're going to fast forward to see if we can find that scene.
We need this.
This movie is so ridiculous, but I kind of had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, you are out of your mind.
No, dude, when
I'm with you.
he gets in there and they start doing the hazing of the, here's the sex scene.
Look at that O face.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Oh, wait, no, wait.
We got to go back a little bit.
Not that scene, no. It's the one where she's riding him and he pulls it up a little bit.
Yeah.
No. Hey, I was looking for anything to enjoy in this movie.
and you picked his balls.
There's two sex scenes.
I didn't notice his balls.
There's two sex scenes in this movie, and they're not bad.
Well, there's no real nudity.
Okay, so he's so this is the sequence where he's dreaming.
Yeah, and he's all grabbing.
And look, he's
himself.
grabbing his balls. He's
literally
grabbing
running
himself right now.
himself.
Well, why isn't he grabbing the other dude's balls?
The black guy, like right before this scene, the black guy looks at him. He's like, "Don't dream." No context. Just tells the new guy, "Don't dream." Like, what are you supposed to say to that?
Okay, so
here we go.
Here we go.
There, right
Yes! Oh my god!
He wasn't even wearing it.
No way!
That is
right there.
Wait a minute. Whose balls are those?
Oh, that is too much. I didn't want it.
That's
There they are.
full on fruit basket.
Oh god!
Half star for Christopher Lambert's balls. That is amazing.
This film just became so European.
Full balls.
Hold on, I just need a minute to process that. So we're going to pause the podcast for a minute. We'll be right back.
Wait.
That's a first.
We need to announce at what time it happens.
Yeah, give us a timestamp. What's the timestamp?
So you at home can follow along.
Right there. That's
Okay,
it.
so 18 minutes and 42 seconds about. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Man, that's
No,
funny.
that's funny.
I can't imagine. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's an extra half star for sure. That's the first on the podcast. The ball shot.
Is it?
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of balls.
You don't see a lot of balls.
we
in
haven't
movies.
watched any more.
Eastern Promises. We saw a
No,
lot of balls
actually,
in that.
there's a lot of dick
true.
in the beginning of this movie.
Is there?
They strip 'em.
Yeah, when they strip them down and they're walking
And
through.
you're just like, is that
Yeah.
a lot of dick?
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
I do remember that. Yeah, I was watching.
and they were real about it. It was like little dicks.
There was shrinkage going on.
Yeah.
No fluffing.
It was
no.
cold as hell in that prison cell, dude.
There's a lot of muff.
And they strip them down. Oh, there's all kinds of hair in this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this movie's real hetero, huh?
It
Goes hard on that.
they're leaning into certain things.
And this is his happy freaking movie.
This is
Look at that ball.
Why do you keep watching it, Matt?
quit rewinding it. My God.
Derailed.
I mean, she's got a cute butt, that's for sure.
Derailed.
Oh, she's cute.
Oh, I don't even know what
Wow.
to say at this point. I was going to talk about the fight scene. I really enjoyed the fight scene where they were punching each other.
The biker from Mad Max.
Yeah, the big biker dude.
Yeah. Did you guys recognize Vernon Wells?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he was the Mohawk guy
Yeah.
from Mad Max.
The assless chaps dude.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, the big dude.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna make you my bitch.
Yeah.
That guy.
Because at the end, it's very obviously Australia. And so I looked up and it's Australian movie. So that's why he's in
This
it.
is an Australian movie?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. At first, I thought that it was Robert Zadar, just because of the way
Oh,
his face
yeah,
looked.
I could see that.
But no, it's Vernon Wells.
Yeah, it's definitely Vernon Wells. Yeah. This movie is so messed up, man.
Yeah, and like there's that whole scene where like they're introduced into the prison cell, and you got like the bald guy. I think his name is Stiggs.
He has like 183 tattooed on his forehead.
187.
187.
But like
No, that's the biker guy from
that's
from
Vernon
Mad
Wells.
Max.
Okay.
Yeah, but Stiggs, who's like the big bald guy with the porn stash, he's the one who's insinuating that he's gonna fuck Christopher Lambert or the
other guy.
Hispanic guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in 1,000 movies. What's his name?
Clifton Collins Jr.
Yeah, it's the least Hispanic name ever, and he's always playing like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a ton of stuff.
I know.
Other stuff. Yeah.
I recognized him from that horrible sequel to Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
All Saints Day. He's like in that movie.
Oh, he's very in that movie.
Yeah, he's very in that movie.
Oof.
So this movie was directed by Stuart Gordon, who was the director of Reanimator. So like the guy who plays D-Day in this movie, Jeffrey Combs.
Yes,
he was
yes,
in Reanimator.
That is correct.
And the story behind this is that basically in Reanimator, they used Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double for a couple scenes. And the body double showed that movie to Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger loved it. And so at the time, Schwarzenegger was attached to star in this movie.
Oh, that would have been
And
cool.
he brought Stuart
I read
Gordon.
that.
Yeah, he
Oh,
brought
you want me to show my balls on the screen?
so he brought Stuart Gordon on board to direct this film. And then for whatever reason, it was going to be like an $80 million Schwarzenegger like action movie. And for whatever reason, Schwarzenegger just backed out. And then the producers went to Stuart Gordon. And it's like, well, without Schwarzenegger, you get like $15 million instead of 80. And Stuart Gordon was like, oh, okay.
And Christopher Lambert. Oh.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger would have made a different, better movie.
This would have been like a much better movie with a bigger budget and and with Schwarzenegger.
It has-
I think because it probably would have put it up there with like kind of like Total Recall.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I love
even
Total
this
Recall.
scene, even this scene right here is
that's
very
it,
Total
yeah.
Recall. I mean, not the rape.
Total
but
Recall is actually the movie that he left to do instead of this movie.
I can
This-
see
yeah.
that.
I get like Running Man vibes and Total Recall
yeah,
vibes
yeah.
from this
Oh, yeah,
movie,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, with a bigger budget, it could have been really
So
cool.
you're saying they could redo this movie and make it better? Or,
With Vin Diesel.
I guess.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
I
Do
guess
you
they
guys know what year this movie takes place in?
It's like 17, right? 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Okay, so one of the biggest plot points in this movie is how they keep the prisoners in check, and it's like this like stomach magnet
Intestinators.
intestinators,
Intestinators.
and like intestinate him, and like
it's fantastic
it gives him a
idea.
stomach ache.
That's a very Stuart Gordon thing.
Oh, it was so goofy, but like, especially when they use it for lethal purposes, is when they're having that big fight scene, and they're on that little retracting bridge for no reason, and they're like, retract the bridge, and then these two guys are fighting, and then the bridge retracts, and they're freaking out because they don't want to fall because there's no handrails or nothing, and then he hits the detonator on the gut thing. and it literally blows a hole
Yeah.
through the dude, and the guy's standing there, and you can see through his stomach.
He puts his hand in
he
the
puts his
hole.
hand through it.
Oh,
and
you know,
like, I was laughing because like that's such a 90s goofy thing to do.
And the core strength it would take to keep your body up without a spine.
Right.
Impressive.
Like he would just fold in half and fall over, but instead he's standing there going, "Oh no!"
That's a really funny criticism.
It was like a freaking cartoon.
Really? I thought that was really cool. I was like, whatever. It's like, of course he's gonna sit there with a hole blown through his gut.
No, he's gonna go.
But you mentioned how this would be a cool Vin Diesel movie.
Yeah.
We've seen this movie. This exact same movie happened in the third Riddick movie. The same prison where they go into the planet.
Oh,
and
crematoria.
it's in the big
Yeah.
and it's in the pit. And he has to go. It's the same setup.
Kind of is.
It's the same exact
Yeah,
setup.
and the control tower is in the middle at the top.
Up in the middle, up at the top.
That was
Yeah.
actually the second Riddick movie.
The second Riddick.
Chronicles
Oh
of
yeah,
Riddick.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
But Stuart Gordon, so like like he came from a horror background, and this movie was originally rated NC-17 because of all
There's balls.
There's a lot of dick.
Yeah, a lot of balls, a lot of dick, a lot of gore. And so like they had to go back and like re-edit out like a lot of the more horror aspects that Stuart Gordon put into the movie in order to get it to an R rating. So
This dude just has a forehead for days, man.
It's
you're
unfortunate.
talking about Kurtwood Smith.
Both of them, Red Foreman and him.
There's a lot of head.
There's a lot of forehead there,
There's a lot
dude.
of head.
A lot of forehead.
He could play a good
So
Frankenstein.
I was talking to Matt we were talking about, I couldn't believe that RoboCop is like 10 years older than this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like basically Red Foreman's playing the same character, basically. You know, it's just this like, hey, you don't mess with me, buddy. And he looks like a wiener, but like he's the boss kind of thing. But and RoboCop was a big deal, right? And it was good, and the effects were good. How is this so much worse?
10 years later?
10 years later.
Because it has a microscopic budget.
Yeah.
Also,
Is that all? Is that
think
the
that's it.
only thing?
Yeah.
Also, I love the fact that so like at a certain point in this movie, Red Foreman decides to torture Christopher Lambert by putting him in the mind eraser machine.
Yeah.
And when he comes out, he's basically a vegetable. He's just,
Right.
he
He's the
just
best part of the movie.
stares into space, drooling. and so like his cellmates take care of him for like 4 months.
4 months.
But before like his wife infiltrates the warden's place and like kind of fixes his brain. And so when he comes out of it, they're like, dude, you've been out of it for 4 months. and I was like, yeah, that was about a good 15 minutes of the movie where he just stared into the camera.
It's all drooling.
Yeah.
They're shaving him and washing him in the shower.
And he's got that awful freaking stringy mullet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's terrible.
so bad.
And the
There's
ending,
a lot of forehead in that scene right there.
I'm telling you, there's a whole freaking bunch of forehead in this movie, dude.
There's a lot of unbelievable acting going on in this scene.
Top notch.
We just stare at you.
so the ending of this movie, basically, so like they escape with
Oh my
Clifton
God.
Collins Jr. and the wife and Christopher Lambert, and they drive out in this like massive like armored truck, and she starts going into labor because she's pregnant.
I guess.
And so and so they pull over into this this abandoned barn where they're trying to deliver the baby, and while they're doing that, the evil corporation that owns the fortress prison finds the car and connects to it via satellite and tries to run them over with the car.
He literally fights Optimus Prime at the end of this movie. It's ridiculous.
So basically, Christopher Lambert, he has to like use this
Flamethrower?
super
Yeah,
gun.
but we got to get the way how he had the gun and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Yeah, but my point in telling this story is that number one, it's a ridiculous ending, but number two, that was the alternate ending that they filmed just for the VHS release.
What?
Oh,
The
really?
theatrical release had a different ending that was apparently much worse than that one, which is why they redid it.
What was that?
Because this movie actually made all of its money off of VHS. Yeah, like it was a box office.
Yeah, I'm pretty
flop.
sure that's how I saw it.
Yeah, I'm
multiple
pretty sure.
times.
Yeah.
I watched it on YouTube. So how he gets the gun. This is my favorite bit in the movie is the big escape, right?
When you find out what's really going on with this.
The big reveal that they're all cyborgs and the
guards are all cyborgs.
the children who are born in this prison become the property of the company that owns the prison, and they take those babies and they raise them and turn them into cyborgs, which is how Red Foreman, his character was a baby that was born in this prison, and he was like born, raised by the corporation, and became the number one dude.
I have an issue with this.
How
old is Red Foreman in this movie? 50?
6.
56?
6.
6 years old?
I don't know. I have no idea. They never really
But the
explained
point is, it's 2017. He looks like he's 50 years old.
Right.
So you're telling me that they were doing this for 50 years?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
Don't overthink it, man. It's just
I had so many problems overthinking this movie. How dare you not tell me overthink this movie?
It's Christopher Lambert. It's one of his movies.
So we should also mention that Christopher Lambert is basically blind. Like he's got like
apparently
he's got an ocular disease where he's unable to wear contacts, so he can only see when he's wearing glasses. So every time you see him in a film without glasses, he literally can't see what's in front of him.
No.
So he's known for getting heavily injured doing his own action scenes because he can never see what's happening.
Jesus Christ.
And it's kind of funny watching him, do these big movies without glasses on because how he's got that weird stare
because he can't see nothing.
He can't see anything.
Well, that makes total sense now because he looks very glassy and like he's staring out into nothing when he is sitting there. Kind of is, I guess.
I'm not trying to make fun of people with eye
job.
problems, but
You're like
and he's
making
French,
fun of handicapped people.
right? Is he French?
I don't know, dude.
No, he's French.
He is French,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Lambert.
Lambert.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
I think he's Belgium, actually.
Yeah, it's something, right?
No.
But
Somebody
Will fact check us.
Somebody in the chat.
like English is not his first
yes.
language. Yeah, English is not his first language,
No.
and it's so weird that they put this blind guy who barely speaks English in action roles.
You know what?
He couldn't speak English when they cast him for Highlander.
I believe you.
And so like he had to spend like 6 months trying to learn enough English to recite his lines.
Oh, good for him.
Sucks.
That's great.
That's how he laughs.
He has
so
a weird laugh.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's so awkward in everything. God, I hate Christopher Lambert.
So the
Connor McLeod from like Connor McLeod. I was like, I can't even.
you guys are going off the rails. So the gut
No, let's talk about
the
the
gut
Highlander
bombs.
series. Now that was a good show. Let's talk about-
I want to
Intestinators.
the intestinators. Thank you. The intestinators. I want to talk about how they get the intestinators out of people. This scene
Just a magnet.
was glorious.
Genius.
So they're magnetized somehow. So if you get a strong magnet, you hold it up against your other intestinator, you can literally push it up and out of your esophagus.
Sure.
And the way the dude gets it stuck in his throat for a minute and he starts like coughing and hacking. And then Lambert comes behind him and gives him the Heimlich maneuver and it pops out. And then they gather 4 or 5 of these things together, tape them into a ball, and then when they start to escape, they try to ignite them so that they blow up because they still think they're inside these people, but they use them to open up this big freaking pipe.
Well, they start a they
start a riot.
they have them all taped together,
Yeah.
make a little bomb, and they attach it to the big pipe.
That's what I just said.
So, but no,
you didn't say- you didn't
fuse.
say that exactly.
They start a fight, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then they get intestinated, but
Uh-huh.
when the intestination thing goes off, it blows them up.
yeah.
So
Is
yeah.
that- okay.
But
I didn't see a fuse. I don't think.
What's funny about that is that in order to get the intestinator out through the throat, it has to go up through the stomach
Yeah.
and the esophagus. Wouldn't it have been easier to just
Shit it out.
like get it down to the rectum and poop it out?
I don't know. Was it in the stomach or was it literally
It was in the intestine.
I'll tell you.
So it was embedded. That thing was like a walnut.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was big.
Serious blockage there.
Yeah, I mean, how much Metamucil you got to take to shit that thing out, Matt?
I don't know.
Well, no,
dude.
it attached to the lining of your
that's-
intestine.
Yeah, it
Dude, this-
attaches.
God, can
so
I-
like, how do they get it to detach?
This movie's stupid.
Yeah.
Because it has like a little clamp on it. They look
I
at it and
get
they're like, "Look, this is the clamp that holds it onto your intestines." Like,
Thank
so
you, Todd.
did they just rip it all the way
Yes.
out? So you're just bleeding internally?
I mean, it's not the only problem.
Listen, what are you guys doing? What are you doing right
we're
now?
talking about this shitty ass
Oh my
movie.
God.
How about the
It's-
weird crystal that they put in
Oh,
a
the
laser
holographic
beam,
crystal,
and
yeah.
it shows the entire map of everything somehow.
Yeah.
And then they, oh my God.
Don't
This
even ask.
movie is amazingly frustrating.
But my favorite part of the movie is when they finally get the riot going and they're trying to escape. They get into the tunnel and they're like, "We're gonna go this way," and the guys like turn on the steam valves and like they just block their exits
After he was fired, by the way.
after he was fired.
Okay, so here,
For being a
here-
shitty perv.
we've got it nailed down here. Thanks to the chat. Christopher Lambert's family. He was born in America, but they were diplomats in Switzerland.
Oh, he's
Oh,
a Swede.
So
that's why his voice is so
he's
weird.
he's got a he's like a weird European accent, imps from all over the place. Yeah,
Okay.
it's very strange. So that's
So-
there
Thank you,
go.
chat.
So you know the best scene in this movie.
Well,
I'm dying to hear
No,
what the best
yeah.
scene
It's
of
the
this movie is.
cyborgs when they rip the mask off the cyborg and,
It's
they're
like,
all
and they
like,
have like half a head.
they're all jacked up.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
No.
No,
You're wrong.
it's clearly his ball sack.
It was the strongest reaction I got.
Well, I got it on tape.
The best scene in this movie is when Kurtwood Smith's head blows up.
Yes, pretty
And,
good.
and
Yeah.
that whole scene where like basically like the prosthetic blows up and there's like a miniature skull like right there for like 2 seconds.
It's
a good moment.
It's fine. If we're going to talk about favorite scenes, the guy with the weird glasses from Reanimator, when he's hacking into the mainframe and just putting his DOS prompts in there
Oh my God.
to load his virus in there somehow.
What virus?
And then he gets shot like 70 times.
And then he hits the enter button.
No, they have to pick him up because none of them know how to work the goddamn keyboard. Like, what do we do?
Yes.
It's just enter.
Just press the
enter.
button.
Push enter.
Because that's a very good point. He sits there and he's like, I'm going to hack the computer. And he goes, open Windows DOS.
Yeah.
And it opens it up. And he goes, log in to administrative, whatever the heck. And it opens the administrative and he says, enter virus.
Yeah.
And it's like, what virus?
It's one of my
Where did you get it from?
How did you have it installed before you came into prison?
It's a 90s thing. That was the thing in the 90s. Like you didn't know what hacking.
Bullshit.
Because now we know.
Because we talked about war games.
Yeah, same thing.
And that movie did it right because they actually had people who knew what they were talking about.
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie.
Let's not forget the difference
like-
between war game and
No balls in that movie.
not a ball, not a ball, not a basketball.
They did crash a Jeep in that movie though.
aggressively.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And they buttered their corn really
but
well.
It is one of my favorite like 90s tropes is the hacking the mainframe and the DOS prompts. and
stupid.
the guy with the glasses just like, look.
Hackers always have to have glasses.
They have bad eyesight because they stare at computer screens all day.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
They'll change their color and a little bit, but it's always the same guy.
It's always the same
And it's
dude.
always like this DOS prompt thing where enter virus.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like he didn't have a thumbnail
This is
or a
today's
thumb,
virus.
whatever. What's it called?
They
Thumb
had-
drive.
They had,
Thumb drive.
they had floppies back then, but this is the
USB
future.
drive.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe it's, I don't know. But that's probably one of my favorites.
This movie is aggressively stupid,
It's crazy.
but it's fun.
But it's kind of fun, right?
I had fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did the bad movie thing the other day, and we were talking about what makes a really good bad movie.
Yeah.
Watching it in a group makes it better.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, for sure.
You
Yeah,
have to.
if we all watch this together,
We would die laughing.
we would
loved
lose
it.
our.
We would have
Can't just
loved
be
it.
like, "There's his balls."
Well, when Jude and I were watching it, I pointed out, I was like, did I just see Christopher Lambert's balls? And she's like, I wasn't paying attention. She went back to her phone.
But this is one of those where if we watched it in a group and we were like having drinks or
Yeah.
smoking pot or whatever you
So,
do for fun,
here's the-
you would enjoy it more.
Here's the thing: when we have the Salty Nerd Podcast Film Festival, this is going to be one of the shows.
Fortress.
that we're gonna watch.
100%.
Can we rent out like an old theater? and
We
just, like,
can.
and
We
I
can
think
do
that,
can.
right?
We might get some plans. We could probably pull that off.
When we get a million fans.
We could definitely rent out that drive-through place.
Yes.
Oh,
in
yeah.
North Vegas.
And they have burgers.
Dude, the drive-in.
That's a fun
dope
idea.
idea.
Fun
That-
idea.
Our drive-in sucks, dude.
What, the one down in North Las
it
Vegas?
Not that drive-in.
So fucking
You're
much.
talking about the shady, weird drive-in over on.
Yes.
Next to the Texas
one
casino?
with the
No,
weird-
no, it's on Jones or something. It's over by the Meadows Mall.
Yeah,
Oh.
I won't go if we go there
It's-
because it's got that weird roofing shit for the.
What about
screens.
No, it doesn't have any roofing.
No.
It's terrible.
It's like a 50-foot screen, and you can get burgers and stuff. It's kind of a cool spot.
What about the rooftop one?
You've actually been there before, so.
They host parties at that rooftop outdoor theater too.
Where's
you
that?
go to, I don't know, it's on top of some casino. You go to the roof and they have a screen and you can rent out the space.
They do that at Cosmo. We don't got Cosmo money.
did we just invent the Salty Nerd Podcast Film Festival?
Sure. Yeah, that's fun.
I think we did.
Yeah, all the movies have balls in them.
Ouch.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna have
do
like one really weird person show up for that movie.
Every
Next
movie
summer.
is subtly homoerotic.
like what kind of movies do you guys sell?
You don't want to know. All right, that's all I can talk about this movie about. I'm done. Vader, give it final thoughts. Give it a rating.
Oh boy, probably my least favorite of the week, but I still had a good time watching this movie. It's not good. I'm not gonna sit here and deny say that it's a bad movie, or say I'm sorry. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's a good movie. It's not. But again, I had fun with it. I didn't have as much fun with it, but I had more fun talking about it than I did watching the movie.
Yeah.
And now that you pointed out Christopher Lambert's ballsack, I'm just kind of like mortified right now. But I'm also kind of like intriguingly amused. I'm like,
That's
very strange. That the Highlander's balls are flopping around.
Did the
on
person
screen
who
right there.
edited this movie not see that? They were just like,
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels, right?
Yeah.
This is like, hey, Christopher, your nuts are flopping around. You want us to keep that in? Oh, it's okay.
They couldn't put like a bikini brief on. or
Yeah,
nothing?
I thought I thought when they filmed these movies, they had like some weird like
they're supposed to have a sack
some
cover.
kind of
I've seen
thing.
that.
Yeah.
This was before intimacy coaches.
I guess.
It's like
He's very method.
So, but do you think they were really having sex in that scene?
I think he was, yeah.
it's like, so you want to do it? Yes, okay.
It's for the better of the film.
Yes, we make this porno. Okay. Yeah,
full penetration.
Yeah, there's an extended edition of this movie out there somewhere.
Oh no.
Yeah,
and there's a reason why she never went on to do other movies. I guess.
she was good looking, man.
Oh, she was gorgeous.
She's good looking. I like her very much so. I don't know. I don't know where to put this movie.
Come on, this is a 1-star crap.
No, it's not. It's not a 1-star. But it is a 1-star crap fest. But I'm gonna give it a half star for balls. So we're going 1.5 because that just cracked me up too much.
All right.
It cracked me up too much.
All right.
So yeah, 1.5 stars.
Tom?
Okay, the only saving grace of this is the realization of when it's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
And it checks off every box for a terrible movie, from writing to directing to acting. There are recognizable characters in it. I mean, actors. So that is the only saving grace, probably, that you're like, oh, it's Red Foreman. Oh, it's that guy from RoboCop, whatever, right?
Yeah, right.
Highlander. Oh, it's that one Mexican or something guy who's always some sort of Hispanic guy.
In all the movies.
In all those movies, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of that. Plus, like, it's got some nerddom with the biker from Mad Max. Oh, okay. But it's so dumb and so bad. The only way to really enjoy it is in a group, having drinks and just literally mocking every moment of it. And then it's actually a very enjoyable movie in that sense only. It's a half star. It sucks.
A half star.
It sucks. It sucks. It sucks.
Okay.
But like, when I talk about sucks, this is my new model for a garbage awful movie that makes no sense, and I don't know why they made it. And
they made it because they thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to be in it,
and he wasn't.
So if this was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, it'd be like 3 stars.
Probably.
I think Schwarzenegger, a better lead would have.
If this was just
Ray Liota was the lead in this, it would have been better.
If maybe.
Oh, for sure.
If this was like a fully produced Arnold Schwarzenegger movie,
look at that face. What an idiot. God, Chris Lambert sucks.
Kate is good at writing final thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm not as down on this movie as some of you guys are. I do like Stuart Gordon as a director.
You are so
and the kitsch level on this movie is very high. So like it was an enjoyable watch for me. I'm gonna give it a solid 2 stars out of 5.
Wow,
nice.
Yeah, you had the luxury of watching it with somebody. I sat there on my couch and just shook my head the whole time.
Jude was on her phone the whole time.
I was on my phone the whole time.
That's the reason she only had one line.
Jude's all like, I don't have to watch this movie.
Well, I think she did, didn't she?
Well,
she fell asleep or whatever.
Well, she watched it with me, but she wasn't really watching it. She was just there.
It's not good.
No,
But it's fun. But it is fun.
It's fun.
It was fun. I kept trying to engage with her over the movie, and she was just having none of it.
Like we said, in a group, this is enjoyable.
Oh God, that's aggressive.
There's the weird fetus.
Oh God, that's so weird.
Oh God.
This
There's our thumbnail right there.
Yeah, there's your thumbnail. Pull your eyes out. These movies will make you pull your eyes out.
That's how I felt watching it.
Okay, this is not a good movie. This is a bad movie. This is 1-star crap fest for me, definitely. Yeah. But I will say I had the most fun watching this one out of the 3.
Wow.
The other 2 I took more seriously.
Maybe that's why.
And I was like, okay, these are okay movies from the 90s, whatever, action sci-fi. This one was so bad that it was funny. And I laughed. And like Kadish pointing out the ballsack thing, that's freaking just the cherry on top. The ballsack on top, just like, wow, this movie is aggressively bad. But I had fun. I had a stupid amount of fun watching this movie because everything was just ridiculous. That's it for this week's podcast.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great time we had. That was fun.
It's fun when Tom hangs out.
I do like, Tom, thank you for being here, man.
And much like the prison movies we watched, no women. So.
Yeah,
I like it. I feel like Tom comes in when I'm not here most of the time. So it's nice to sit down and talk about bad movies with Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do this a lot.
It's been a long time.
I'm usually in your chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. Well, you're a very busy man.
Sometimes.
All right. Comment below your favorite bad sci-fi movie and let us know what it is, and maybe we'll put it on a list. Recently we had a chat with some people on our Discord, and they were like throwing out some good freaking sci-fi 70s movies.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that sounds fun.
70s had weird sci-fi.
What was that? We were watching trailers like Omega Man.
I typed in science 70s sci-fi movie trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like an hour-long video of just the weirdest shit. And I was playing it before we did our
watch party.
Have you watched Logan's Run?
Yeah,
we did that for the podcast.
The Logan's Run's like PG, right? There is so much nudity in that movie. Yeah. It's unbelievable. You're like, wait. Okay.
No, we did a show.
So weird.
It was called 70s dystopia movies. I think it was
Logan's Run, Warrior, and
no, it wasn't. Was it Warrior?
The Warriors.
And
Warriors.
Death Race 2000.
Death Race. Yeah,
like
Death
that.
Race is such a kooky
It was
movie.
The Warriors has like 2 good scenes, and other than that,
Yeah.
it's like I tried to watch The Last Dragon recently
The Last Dragon.
with Shonuff, Shogun of Harlem.
Mm.
You've not seen this?
It's one of Jude's favorite movies. She makes me watch it every year.
It's a tough watch.
All right,
By
let's
yourself.
wrap this up.
Sukiyaki Suki.
Yes, it's so ridiculous.
Okay, or not Cage. Vader, where can they find you in the socials?
On the social medias, you can find me on the Twitter, the YouTube, the Instagram, the Getter, the Truth, something or other, and all the other ones at Matt Vader 74. We're all over the place.
And you're doing something pretty cool on Saturdays.
Saturday mornings, me and Kadish get together with our panel, and we talk about really bad but brand new Star Trek shows. So we've been talking about Picard. It's getting actually pretty popular. We're getting a pretty good little fan base there, which is kind of fun. And when this comes out, Picard will be wrapped up. We'll be going into we'll be going into Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
So
Cool.
there you have it.
And Tom, if people want to find you on Instagram, where can they find you?
Pretty easy to find me, I guess, if you want to. A couple people have actually, so it's kind of cool to get that. Yeah, so it's Big T2681. I'm on Instagram. I don't post a lot, but if you friend me, I'll friend you, and if you want to chat, I'll chat. So right now, it's all about Elden Rings for me. So watching all of these movies plus Outer Range and working, it was a tough weekend, man. I am exhausted right now.
We do this every week.
Yeah. You guys put in the work, man. You guys really put in the work. I'm just happy to be here.
All right, Kadish, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. KadishBooks.com takes you to our Amazon page. And be sure to go to saltynerd.com/rate. We're trying to get 200 5-star ratings in order to get accredited on Rotten Tomatoes. So if you head over there and give us a 5-star review, really appreciate it. You don't even need to write anything. Just hit the 5 stars.
Right on. All right, guys, we met our 200 member goal for Discord, so that's great. Our next goal is for Instagram. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 mark on the Instagram followers. We're at like 750 or something like that, so we're pretty close. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we'd really appreciate it. Help us get that mile marker. All right, everybody, thank you so much for...
Let's be real. We want them to follow us everywhere.
But
YouTube, Instagram,
I've got
Twitter.
goals. People like goals, 1,000 followers is not too bad. Not too shabby.
And we need 40 more reviews on the Apple stuff. So yeah.
Sweet. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Thanks so much. Stay salty.